Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Bronze to GM. I'm sorry we had a little bit of a break over the Christmas period. We had a subathon and a bunch of other stuff happened, but we're back. And you know what? Platinum League's going to be exciting. Why is Platinum League so exciting? Well, we're going to start using Disruptors. We're going to start taking a third base. Well, for the most part, doing the same build, but having that third base is going to be really nice. We're also going to learn a completely new build for PvP, but don't worry, it's a very easy build. It's a 4-gate. It is the most basic build you possibly can learn. The reason we're doing that is the standard for PvP is a 2-gate opening. Now, don't get me wrong. I know if you watch a lot of pro play, you see 1-gate expand, but even most GM players are not able to defend that against cheese and against proxies and 1-base all-ins. So we are not going to give you that. Why are we not going to give you that build? Because it's too hard. It's way too hard to learn how to do a 1-gate expand. I see so many players at all leagues saying, well, MaxPax does this, it must be good. You know, what are you talking about, Pig? He does it. It is the thing. It is the standard. And I've said, yeah, we're the top 5 Protoss in the world. And anyone below that does not do it. And there's a reason why. It's too hard. So we'll get to that when we get to it. For now, we're playing a PvZ. Our first match is actually against the Diamond 3, almost Diamond 2 player. And you might be wondering, well, what's going on, Pig? Like, what is this? Diamond, we're going to be playing a few more high-level players. And the reason is, the main thing other than Disruptors and a third base in Platinum League that we're focusing on is we are going to be playing against a lot more BS in Platinum. This is the thing everyone struggles with. And I did a really bad job in my last Bronze to GM of preparing everyone for that bullshit that comes your way. And I also just gave you guys way too difficult things to focus on in that last Bronze to GM from this point. So I really wanted to fix that in this and kind of give you guys a really good, how do you get from gold to diamond? What is the in-between? And I've encouraged everyone I'm playing against today to do as much cheeky BS as they possibly can. To block my base, disrupt me, cheese me. And you might say, well, now you know they're doing cheeky things, Big. Can't you prepare for it? Won't you be blind countering? No, guys, I have a bit more discipline than that, okay? First things first, let's go Adept first. And we're not actually going to chrono the warp gate anymore. We stopped doing that now. Even though it's not a bad idea, it's okay. Anyway, let's rally to the natural. What's that? Oh, there's Zergling already here. Okay, cool. So we're not reacting to the pool first at all. We're still at a level where we don't really bother doing that. And let's go for that Robo now. And we're just doing same stuff we always do, guys. Chrono boost probes, and we can make, we can make some stalkers if we want. I think it's okay to make an adept into a stalker in this matchup. Anyways, we'll chrono probes a little bit here, make lots of probes, and let's just talk you guys through the build, and I'll add more details as we get on. So, guys, we've got our Robo on the way. We want to go Observer and then Immortal out of that Robo, already rallying it across the map. Actually, I'm not going to do that, because then I might accidentally rally the Immortal across the map, and that always feels very dumb. Now, at 33 supply, we want to go 2 gates, so we're still going to do this same opening. Nothing's changed there. And then, of course, our pylon right afterwards. I'm going to squeeze in 2 more probes, because you can see I've only got 1 probe queued on each nexus, so I do that. So we just added those probes in, then build the pylon, no worries. What are we doing other than that? Well, get the Observer, chrono that out, and just keep tapping the probes. So a few more probes. We can also build another pylon as well. So now we're going to be building an Immortal. That's going to use up a lot of supply. And remember, guys, about 12 workers on the natural. Go on that 3rd and 4th gas. Now, oh my god, we're getting all in! Okay, so this is going to be really hard, guys. So we're going to grab every probe from the main and every probe from here, and we're shift-clicking them onto the same hotkey. And we're going to click through, and we're going to surround, we're going to A-move, okay? Now, warp gate's done. Probes are fighting. We're going to try to warp in some stalkers, okay? Or adepts, up to us. Going to go stalkers, I think. I'll make a zealot and a stalker. We're going to make some probes here as well. Nice. Making probes. We're dead. GG. Really well played. Great all-in from our opponent. GG, well played. What the hell went on? Oh no! We died! And guess what? That there is a therapy build. It's a slightly more committed, slightly later hitting therapy build, but it's a beautiful all-in. So shout out to Army of Snakes for doing that. And guess what, guys? This is going to happen to you on the ladder. Occasionally, you'll be just in Plat 3, and you'll play someone that we would call a... we had a few names for them in school. No Friends Nigel, Absolute Douchebag Loser. We had all these names. Basically, people who smurf. You will play these people very occasionally on the ladder, or you'll just be playing at 3 a.m. No one else is playing, so it matches you with someone 800 MMR higher than you, and they just do a really tight all-in, and it just kills you. with everything I've taught you up to this point, you should not be able to defend this particular timing. Because it's just before our observer can scout it. I should have had another gateway unit out, to be fair. But unless we have a blind shield battery or we send our adept to scout, we cannot deal with it. And, well, that's the thing. By the time we're playing Diamond 3 players regularly, we should be adept scouting every game, and that would allow us to see this coming, wall off, build shield batteries, make more units, make an immortal first instead of an observer, and we'd be just fine. But that is, of course, the nature of StarCraft. Let's go windowed mode so I can tab in and out. We like to do windowed mode on this show, so I can tab in and out. We did the best possible probe pool we could, full surround on most of those units, but we'd already lost our gateway units. Very well played by our opponent. Now, if we had a third gateway unit, and we pulled back from the wall instantly and pulled those probes to buffer for them, we maybe could have held on, but our opponent's on 17 drones. We would have needed to survive with at least 15, I would say, 12, to be in an okay position here. Pig, can I give you $100 and you could review my video and then beat me up and help me play better? I really appreciate the offer there. I have coaching. Unfortunately, it's prohibitively priced. I will occasionally roast someone's replay or help them out. I give people free coaching in the Discord. My whole community helps each other improve all the time on a daily basis, myself included. If you go into my Discord, you can actually see all these people helping each other out. We go over here. This is my Discord channel, !Discord, or it's in the description if you're watching on YouTube. And what you can do, replay analysis. If you click on replay analysis, check it out. All these people posting replays with questions. And you can see there's all these different 7 comments on that one, 193, lots of people talking on this, struggling to get back into ZVT. Lots of people posting replays there. So I occasionally poke in and analyze the replays and post stuff, but there's a lot of other people in there who do the same thing. Anyways, guys, let's get back into the game. So technically, how do we defend this? Well, the problem with this is it kind of looks like a normal opening, right? And that our opponents, yeah, they went pool before hatchery, but they still got an expansion. And normally we get by on going, hey, as long as our opponent expands, we don't need to scout till our observer comes out. And we saw why that's a problem here. So what you need to do, normally in PvZ, is you need to make an extra adept or stalker straight away, chrono your gateway at least a second time, especially if they go pool first, pool before hatchery. And you want to send your adept across the map. And if you shade it across the map, go forwards, usually you'll be able to get over here, and about just after 3 minutes, maybe 3:15, you'll either see roaches coming out, or you'll shade in and you'll see no workers on this expansion. And if you see no workers on the expansion, guess what? Our opponent's doing what we refer to as a naughty. They're doing a naughty. So let's start our notes for today. Game 1. Need to super tie it. Diamond 2. Diamond 2/3. Ravager Ling all in. 17 drones, kind of like our old therapy all in is basically what they did. If you want more info on that, therapy build, CVP Pig. A Reddit thread comes up. How do you hold this CVP Pig's therapy build? Here we go. So we've got a lovely guide on that if you guys want the actual build. It's a good one. How do we respond? Adept scout needed to see roaches leaving or the lack of drones on natural, right? So that's the tell. That's how we scout it. And then what's the response, guys? Battery plus full wall off with buildings, gate or gate if possible. Make gateway units non-stop. Make immortals rather than observer. And that's it. So if I did that, you can imagine, if we go back in game, let's imagine that response. My adept gets in, say 3, let's say I don't see it till 3:10. I mess up on my shade timing or something like that. At this point, we go, oh shit, what do we do? We immediately stop probing. I would cancel my probes, guys, as well, because obviously that's not important and I don't have enough money otherwise. So what are we going to do? We're going to cancel those 2 probes. That gives me enough money to start another Stalker or Adept. Up to you if you want Stalkers or Adepts. Stalkers are better because they have longer range, but Adepts do more damage to Zerglings. Stalkers are better at fighting the Roaches and Ravagers. Adepts are better against the Zerglings. One of those 2 units is fine because they can both attack across the wall. So we'd queue that up. We'd chrono boost it. Well, you don't have to chrono, actually, because we want to probably save the chrono for the Immortal. That's probably more important. We'd make another Stalker. We'd make a shield battery, or we could make 2 shield batteries. And we'd still build our pylon here, trying to make sure we have multiple pylons and batteries all kind of powering the gateways and stuff. What else would we do, guys? We'd pull the Adept back from the wall. We'd put a gateway down here. And that gateway would be beautiful. Did we forget the probe scout? No, we probe scouted earlier. We checked that there was an expansion. Technically, we could have hung around and seen the Roach Warren go down, but that's not what we normally do, so that's fine. So that's it, guys. Adept Shade, especially important against Zerg players as you go up the ladder and they start hitting really tight attacks like this. So that's why the Adept Scout is something. Should we start doing it here in Platinum every game against Zerg? I would say we don't necessarily need to. If you guys find that's a bit too intense when you're still at this level, you might want to just build a blind shield battery, or you might just want to cop the loss. Because there is only this narrow window of attack in between our probe scout here and our observer seeing that coming. It's only if they attack in this, 3.5 to 4 minute period where we haven't probe scouted for a little bit and our observer's not quite out of the map. This 3 minute to 4 minute period is the weak point with how we're doing it. And it is totally fine for us to just gamble and say, if they hit us at 3 to 4 minutes, we might just die. And that's okay. That's totally fine. Here, like I said, I needed to pull those probes straight away to try and defend these gateway units. Gateway units should have pulled to the mineral line because you need the damage of your gateway units. GG's. Now, keep in mind, I always get comments after games like this. People say, that's exactly what happens to me every game. Your build never defends it, Pig. You're a fraud. Your build doesn't fucking work and you suck. Now, what are people missing? They don't look at the timings. They don't look at the build. Anytime someone makes a comment like that, without fail, I look at the replay and they get hit a minute or two later in the game and their build is absolute arse. And I go, this is a completely different thing. You cannot dare claim that is the same thing. And don't get me wrong, you will lose some games. But the reason this is a pattern for players is they don't look at the specifics of the game. They don't fix their own execution. If you guys don't do that, that's what's going to happen. Is it worth having a second wall on the main ramp? No. So basically, second walls like that, there's just you don't have the money for it. Number one. Number two, it's basically saying, well, I'm just not going to do the front wall properly. And this stuff works really well against low to mid-level players because you're almost baiting them into overcommitting. It's kind of like a thing Florencio does, but it is very trolly and it will not scale to high-level play. Because high-level players are flexible and they can be like, oh, wow, I can just break your front wall so easily. I'm in here, I'm killing your base. This was a light pressure. I'm droning behind this. I'm making more workers. I'm taking a third and fourth base. And you're like, oh, no, my trap. I gave up my natural. And they know how to build an economy behind this. They don't stare at their army for the next 3 minutes straight. Oh, shit. I'm on one base now. They didn't go up the ramp. Oh, no. All right, guys, our second game, we got another Zerg. I believe this one was about... Actually, I didn't see the MMR for this, I'll be honest. I can't remember. Anyways, we're going to send this probe down slightly early. You'll notice I used to never do this, but it is a little more optimal to get that wall off up just a little bit faster. Chat says this was 2900 MMR. So this one's a proper plat player, guys. It's another Zerg player. About 500 MMR lower than my previous opponent. And you know what, guys? There's a part of my brain that says Adept Scout, Adept Scout, Adept Scout, because we know that'll stop that last all-in. But you know what? Your next opponent isn't going to be doing the all-in from the previous game. This is what I call trauma in StarCraft. It's where players start to change how they play based on what happened in the last game. And if you've gone out, you've analyzed the replay, and you've said, oh, this small change keeps me safe against this and a whole other range of things, I'm really motivated to learn that every game, I'm going to do it, go ahead and make that change. But if you're just in the heat of the moment in game and you go, oh, what if he does a Ravager-ling attack? And you just start making stuff up, you start to play a very afraid style of StarCraft, a very poor style of StarCraft. So, guys, we see a hatchery first. We're just going to scout around the main and then come home. We can rally back to the gas, and then we can control group 2 on the scouting probe, control group 3 on this one. That guy got attacked. That's all right. Double tap 2, double tap 3, double tap 2, double tap 3. Use that to zoom around, build the cyber core. Notice we've got that nice little space in between those. Back to the main, and we resume probing. And we want to add this to the control group, double tap, send to the camera location, set the rally point. Let's get the second gas, let's get the pylon, and let's go back to probing. Technically, you're meant to go second gas, build a probe, second pylon, build a probe. I just did both at once because I had a bit of extra money there. Trying to get back to playing slow. It's been a few weeks since I did Bronze to GM, guys, so I'm going to just really consciously try to slow down in this game. Remember, having seen hatchery first, we don't leave the probe there, we just chill. I'm still going to build the Adept just because that's what we do first in this matchup, and I will still build like at least a Stalker or two afterwards, just like we've been used to doing. One great thing is the Adept's a little cheaper on the gas, so we can actually just build our Robo here. We can go back to mining. Let's keep building probies. We want to get a Stalker, because that Overlord is out in the open, isn't it, guys? And if you want, you can double chrono it as well. So we can chrono boost that, but we can also chrono boost the Stalker. And guys, what are we doing? Normally they run to like a pillar out front your base, say over there. But if we shoot it from the left, it's going to chase that Overlord to the right, and there's nowhere to hide on the right. So that's going to be great. Robo is hotkeyed, and we're going to build... Yeah, we'll build another Stalker, why not?
I am here in the shadow.
Alright guys, we've got 2 Stalkers on the way. We're building lots of probes. Just going to A-move these guys over there, make sure they're all good. And it's past 32 supply already, so past time we get these 2 gateways. And we do need the pylon as well, remember. There we go. Make sure we're solid in the wall, guys. We can hold position those units. Let's get another pylon here. Alright, let's go back to probing. Looks like there was a slight gap there in the probes. Let's also make an observer. We're going to chrono boost the observer into an immortal. And once you start that, we also want to get another pylon out pretty quickly. Queuing up a few more probes. Notice we've got 3 gateway units. We'll just stop there for now. And when we're at 12 workers on the natural, there we go. We want to go double gas. Beautiful. Alright guys, we've got an observer out. That's going to go through the middle of the map. Check for both third bases, and then go there. If you want to click like here, do that. But I could do that on the minimap, just as accurately. It's up to you if you feel confident with your minimap usage or not. Immortal is being built, guys. Let's just keep building probes for now. Build one more pylon. Let's put guys on gas. Put guys on gas. Now, if we feel threatened at all, we could build gateway units. Otherwise, we can just pause for a second. Let's get the second Robo and the Robo Bay. You guys know we love to do that. We just need a few more probes to get to 44, okay? So, if we... Oh, those are overlords. I saw purple units on the map, and I... Wait, why is our opponent purple, guys?
Game paused.
Okay, so we have a setting on, guys. Why is my opponent purple? It's really hard to see purple things on creep, and just in general on a dark background. Why is my opponent not red? If you guys have this, you gotta be very careful. Hostile color is red. Why are they not showing up as red? What's going on? Guys, link the B2GM doc for Bartholomew in the chat, please. ! B2GM doc. You guys can follow along with the build. Second and third gateway at about 33 supply. But there's actually a button over here, guys, right? It's this one. Yeah, it's this one. So this one is actually a button which sometimes gets misclicked when you're clicking on the minimap. And changing that little handshake actually changes the colors to the colors the players have picked. So that's actually really annoying, because there are times where I'll be playing ladder and I will miss a drop coming into my main or something, and I'll look at the replay and I'll go, I had vision of this for so long, why didn't I notice it? And I will realize for 5 games straight, I've been playing with the colors that I'm not used to, and I just don't even notice until I get caught out by not seeing something in the minimap, and I go, what the hell? So right now I'm squinting at my minimap, looking at purple on purple, and I'm going, what the fudge is this? I can't change it right now, but we're gonna do it. Very important. I don't think there's any way to disable this setting. So we want to click that there. There we go. Doesn't that pop so much more in the minimap? That's so much easier to see. All right, guys. So we'll make a few zealots here just to have some tanky units. Add those to our control group. And guys, we're at 44 probes, so we stop probing. Awesome. Just keep building pylons here. We're going to build another immortal. Now, at this point, we're about to go into double Colossus production. But you know what? We're at 44 workers. We're at 70 supply almost. It's time to take a third base. So we're going to take a third. We could take it either towards our opponent or away from them. Up to you guys. The reason I'm going to take it towards my opponent, and we'll build a pylon there straight away, is because that's very close to this choke point. So my units can kind of sit in the middle and still be very safe. Okay? And this is one of the new things we're adding with our platinum version of the build. Behind this, guys, what do we see? We see 3 bases. We see a lot of drones. We see a lot of Evo chambers. Don't pay attention to scouting. Focus on macro first. Colossus. Chrono, Viagra as well. We got that Viagra going for Big Daddy. Now, once the third Nexus starts, we can build a shield battery at it once the pylon's up, and we can go back to probing. Select the Nexi, rally to the third, and that's going to be fantastic. So we're building Colossi. I'm going to rally them. I'm going to shift rally them there and to the Immortal. So they both pop out, and then they rally to the Immortal as long as that Immortal's still alive. Now, time for the next part of the build. You guys remember it? Same as what we were doing before. The only difference is we're adding a third Nexus and squeezing some probes in between. So we'll build a Twilight and a Forge, then we'll get 5 gateways in a little bit when we have the money, okay? Just build another pylon. Remember, the Nexus is going to count as 2 pylons when that's finished. Just keep queuing up probes. Let's take a look at this, okay? Okay, so what do we see? Double Evo, sign of greed. That's a sign of a big economy. Hydroden and Roachwarren, sign of greed because there's multiple tech structures. However, that main base is missing a lot of drones. How can we tell, guys? Only 1 worker on that patch, 1 worker on that patch, 1 worker on that patch, 1 worker on that patch. This player is way under saturation. So we can tell they haven't actually got a full main base. This is just general knowledge. Only 1 worker on that patch, 1 worker on that patch, 3 on that, 3 on that, 2 on that, 2 on that, 1 on that. That base is a little undersaturated as well. We do see a lot of roaches popping out. Normally you wouldn't spend this long looking at it. Let's just build another Colossus and another Immortal, guys. And keep building probes. And then this base also doesn't have that many workers, okay? So our opponent is on 3 bases, but they're not actually filled with drones. And drone count is what matters. We don't need to do any reaction to that. That's just knowledge for now, that's all. Okay, guys, so let's go. Charge +1, chrono. And what else are we going to do? We're going to go Templar Archives, and we're going to build those 5 gateways. Obviously, we delayed this a lot because I was talking about the scouting info. Build a bunch of pylons as well. There we go. Get another pylon on the front. That's all fine. We also want to get these 2 gases. We want to go to 66 probes, guys. So these guys can go down here, and we can immediately just box 3 workers, click on the gas. Box 3 workers, click on the gas. Build another 2 or 3 workers, and that'll take us to 65, 66, okay? Now, we're going to build our first Disruptors, because we're gonna start mixing in 2 or 3 Disruptors and just get used to using them. And I think that's going to be great. Now, if you're worried about muters at all, obviously keep scouting for it. With your observers, we can build a few more observers as well to help that scouting. You can even get the observer speed if you really want. That's a pretty good upgrade. You can also make sentries to use hallucinations, but we're not that big of a fan of it. Let's add our gateways to our control group. Cue the 400 comments. Why don't you just use the warp gate hotkey? We've answered this in the very first mechanics section of the video. I've also been responding to your comments, but I think I'm going to get bored of that, so I'm probably going to stop responding to the 15 comments on each video I get of that. But go back to that first section if you want that. Okay, guys, we're going to go over here and fight. We're going to activate battery overcharge, and we're going to try and bring our Disruptors forward. Now, Disruptors, you want to click them on a Colossus or an Immortal, so they just follow your army, okay? Let's pull back. When we fight, all we need to do is A move and that. Now let's make our army, guys. We want Archons and Zealots, okay? Box them, morph Archons, shift 1. Let's kill this Overlord. Awesome. Let's build a few more pylons, and let's chrono as well, okay? Now, if you want to make blink so you have like a... Oh, whoa, big fight. Okay, guys, we're A moving, and we're going to go Disruptor there, okay? These are not the best Disruptor shots. This is very basic Disruptor micro. That's all we do in each fight. Pull back, keep your army together, click the Disruptors on the Colossus or Immortals, and we're just, once again, building lots of Immortals. As long as we've got a few Colossi up, a few Disruptors, it's just Immortals, Zealots, Archons. We can make another High Templar into Archons, a bunch of Zealots, and we lost a probe up here and a few more, so we can build a few more probes, or don't. Why? Because your main's always half mined out by this point. So we can grab 6 to 8 workers from the main, and we can just go put on gas, deselect. And you can always do this from about 9 minutes. It's always a good idea to do that, which is why technically it's a good idea to take a 4th base, but we're never really caring about that 4th. It's just a bonus thing to transfer workers to if the game drags on. Let's take +2. Let's add these more Immortals in. And we still want to go for a big attack, guys. We're getting to a point where we're just kind of massing this army. Do we really need more units? I've got like, how many Immortals do we have in here? Let's build a Warp Prism. I don't have a Warp Prism yet. That's a big mistake. We've already got 5, 6 Immortals, 2 Colossi, a massive Archons and Zealots. Let's move across the map. So we're going to move here, A move to there, to our staging point. Check our Disruptors are still with the army. They are. They're still clicked on a Colossus. Now, if he's going there, that means his army's down here, guys. So we're going to move our army down there to find his army. Because he's looking to base trade us, isn't he? Because he knows he can't beat me front on. How do we know that? Because we saw units rallying there. Why would they be rallying there? Now look, I misclicked that Disruptor. That was a bad Disruptor shot. Always click the Disruptor where you want it to end up, okay? So, oh, and guys, if you rally the Robo to your army, your Prism will pick up units like a dum-dum. Excuse me. This is where the move command actually comes in handy. It's like the one time you actually have to tell it to move. Because if you right click, it picks up. It assumes you want to do that, but you want to use the move command if you want the Prism to follow your army. I like to put it on a separate hotkey, either my dumping hotkey or something like that. But it's up to you guys. I don't think yeah. Anyways, let's go win this game, guys. We can't waste too much time. You might make Broodlords or something. Luckily, my Observer still sees everything. That's all right. Let's grab the Observer. I'm going to click that on a Colossus as well. Click the Disruptors on a Colossus. Keep building Immortals. All right. Move to the staging point. And when we get there, we'll be good. Are we maxed on Pylons? Yes. Are we chronoing an upgrade? Yep. We'll queue up an Armor as well. We could build a lot more Gateways or Robos here if we want. I mean, we can just spend some money on some Gateways. Just spam those down. Click them back. We don't need Pylons. That's cool. We can grab some workers and transfer, though, over to the 4th base, which I didn't have a camera location for. Oh, no! We're getting attacked! Shit! Pull the Disruptors back and shoot your Disruptor shots out at the targets. Luckily, my army is so much better than his. That's okay. So I probably should have moved my staging zone to only halfway across the map, because moving all the way across, he jumped on me when I wasn't looking, and that's obviously very bad. We want to avoid that. Now let's siege up the Warp Prism. Archons are the better unit, but Zealots are very quick to warp in. We don't have to wait for them to morph, so they immediately boost your army a lot more powerfully. Jason, thanks for the big raid, mate. I hope you had a fantastic stream. So check it out. Our army's a bit spread, but that's okay. We're just focusing on the Disruptors. Notice we just click the Disruptor shots where we want them to go, but we waited for the Disruptors to get in range. If I clicked those straight away, the Disruptor shots would have fallen short and landed on my own army. So click those Disruptors back. And remember, guys, we want to try and clump our army every now and then. You've got a big death ball. Try to clump it, move in. Click the Disruptors on the Colossus. And we can go over here. Remember, use the camera location. You guys know I like to use a camera location for my warp in. Control click the Zealots, shift 2, and move in again. Now, look at that, guys. So we're going to throw some Disruptor shots, one on the ramp, one in front of the ramp. Second shot didn't do a lot. First shot did a massive amount. That's all we're doing. It's just A moves and those 2 Disruptors. It's not a lot to focus on, but it's enough to start us getting used to these Disruptors, and it makes a massive difference. Not to mention, the crazy amount of money we have is big. Now, this is where I'm going to get a lot of comments from people in the chat saying, well, you've got a lot of money. Shouldn't you take 3 more bases, 26 more gateways, second forge, dark shrine, 3 stargates? Why don't you start a carrier transition? Pig, why are you teaching people how to play StarCraft wrong? These are all the incorrect takeaways to take from this mission. The correct takeaway from this mission, does anyone remember what the correct takeaway is? The correct takeaway is very simple. It's go effing kill him earlier, and that's about it. That's it. Just go kill him. I was explaining basics, explaining a new build, spending a lot of time dilly-dallying. Even though we've taken a 3rd base, I still could have pushed right here. And we could have had most of the money spent. No, I'm not saying it's a bad idea as you move across the map to build a few bases or to build 6 more gateways. I also could have spent my money a lot better if I was chronoing and queuing up extra robo units. There was big gaps in my robo production, which is part of why my money floated. So I should have always been queuing up like 2 Immortals per robo, because early game you only need 1. You're focusing on your macro, you're going to be doing that. But if you chrono the robos, if you're focusing on your army a lot more, you're going to forget to look at home. So it's more important here. Why queue up 2 Immortals? Queue up 4. I've got money. Queue up more Immortals because they take about 30 seconds to build with a chrono boost. That way you have to come back once every minute to queue up every Immortal. Or you don't even need to look at it. You can just use your hotkeys as well. So you just need to be warping in Zealots and Immortals, Archons, Zealots and Immortals to beef out that core of 2 Disruptors, 2 Colossi, and whatever Immortals you've already got. Your army just gets disgustingly powerful. Really, really beautiful army. However, one thing I would criticize myself for here is the Observer usage. What if my opponent swapped into Mutalisks? Well, attacking earlier stops them from doing that. I saw a lot of Roach Hydra after the first army or 2. He could have swapped Mutalisks. I technically did see more Roach Hydra rallying out, which is why sitting in between the production is really important. If you set the Observer up like over here, you see what's popping out of all these bases, and you see, oh, there's Mutas coming. Okay, or there's Roaches building. They're not building Mutalisks. You know, you can usually, oh, there's just tons of drones popping out. You can usually tell what a Zerg's focusing on in the moment, but actively monitoring that is a very high APM, high skill thing to do. So generally what we do is we just try to set up an Observer in the main base if we can to see what tech goes down, one out front the base, and we try to just make sure we actually take this economy and go push it across. Now, because Patrick, we were going to attack a bit earlier, but this army came down, and we went and chased that down right when we were going to be moving out. So we kept getting delayed, but it was acceptable because we kept killing giant armies, right? Like we killed a lot of big armies of our opponent here, and it worked out. Remember, everybody, that's a good example of a very standard execution of the build. We didn't bother adept scouting or anything. We played completely normal. But definitely third base right around 5 minutes seems to make sense. We do it just before starting our 2 Colossus. I think that's a really good way to time it, because if we start the 2 Colossus first, we might end up delaying that Nexus for a long time. So I really like this, guys. Let's get in there and go to the build here. Nexus plus resume probing. Note, start this just before your first 2 Colossus and thermal lats to squeeze it in at a crisp timing. However, if you're under attack, under threat, obviously the Colossus will take priority, right? If you're getting attacked, obviously, or you think you could be getting attacked, the third Nexus not as important. That's going to be a high level adjustment. It's only a few seconds difference either way, but it does matter. What do you think about taking an early third before extra tech structures? I think that would be a different build, and I think it's okay to do, but probably not a good idea, because this build is very focused on just these couple of gateways from the start. No Twilight, no Robo. Your gateway units suck dick. And we don't want to be building a ton of shield batteries and cannons or anything to support. So if we only have 1 Robo building units, no Robo Bay, just building a few Immortals and unupgraded gateway units, I think would be quite dangerous. And I think getting the third at this time is still a very good time to get the third base. And it allows us to have a good core of Robo units building up for a very long time. Those double Robo pumping is huge. It's very important. Pig, what do you do to scout if your observers just keep getting killed? Well, I mean, you can use sentry hallucinations at a high level, but if we're really gold plat, kind of what this is aimed at, I would say just don't stress too much. I mean, you can obviously do different things with your observers depending on what the matchup is. So oh, there's 1 Raven or 1 Overseer with their army that's at the front. Okay, so I'll send an observer around the edge of the map, and I'll just go in around and I'll siege it in between the main, natural, and third. Because the Overseer is going to be out front the whole game. It's not going to be going back there, and then I'll still get to see everything they're building. Same with the Terran player. Oh, this Terran is a Raven. This is really annoying. Okay, I'll send an observer around the back. I'll siege it up off to the side of his production, so I can still see everything he's building in his main base. Very rare the Raven's going to go up there to check after the first time it checked earlier on. I can still see all their production, and I can still put a few observers looking for drops on the edges of the map and stuff like that. I can put some probes out, or zealots or whatever, for vision as well. Yeah. How would you recommend a Zerg play versus double Robo with a later third? I don't drone, and when I do, I don't really know how many I can get away with. This is not that late a third. This is a 5-minute third. It's not that crazy a third base timing. But a double Robo build, by its nature, can't be particularly aggressive, so you can be quite greedy. You can also try to rush towards Mutalisks or Vipers. Obviously, Vipers is for more of a later response. Mutas is a bit quicker to get to, but both are very good. You can also base trade against a style like this. It's kind of like mech. It's immobile. So if they catch you, oh, but they push right when I'm weak and I don't have Vipers or Mutas yet, or whatever it is. Okay, well, if your army just base trades and forces the Robo army to go home, bam, you get a lot of Mutas. Easy peasy. All right, ladies and gents, our first game against Terran for today. Same build as the last one against Zerg. Should be fun. I'm still going to be doing that natural wall off. You don't need to. If you guys really want, you can start walling off either here to kind of just wall off that side of your base from Reapers, or you can wall off the Reaper ledge if you guys really like. I don't like walling the Reaper ledge. I feel like it's really annoying because high-level Terrans just go down there with their stim army and kill your buildings. But if you guys like it, go for it. I mean, there's a lot of choices. A lot of people say the natural wall-off's really bad versus Terran and Protoss. They're wrong. It is a bit bad in some scenarios. There's a few scenarios where it backfires. I don't think it's that big a deal. Just don't create too tight of a choke point is the main thing. So I'll build the Cybercore like down here. Whereas with Zerg, obviously we were doing a bit more of a tight wall. Anyway, let's chrono, let's build our gas. Our opening's a little sloppy here, not as well-timed as in some of the previous ones, but that's okay. Let's go for a bit of a scout around the base there. Man, I haven't given a lot of names, really, for the Protoss units, have I, guys? We've had the unkillable Immortals. What's an unkillable unit in a movie or popular art or media of some kind, guys? We can harass the SCV if we want. No, we're not going to do that. That's too annoying. Obviously, there's, like, Dracula. He's, like, unkillable. He always comes back to life. We've obviously got Viagra for Big Daddy. Wait, wasn't Big Daddy an Adam Sandler movie? I guess we could just call Colossus Adam Sandler. Anyways. Barracks gas. Looks like they're going to go for an expansion. That's fine. Let's get the second gas. Build another pylon. Probe, sorry. Then we want that second pylon. Let's build it over here, guys. And oh no, he killed my probe scout. Okay, guys. So you know what? I am going to send another probe across the map. We're going to send it down the bottom, because if a Reaper comes, it's going to go through the middle. So we send this probe to scout what's going on. And I think we'll also chrono boost probes to make up for the one we lost. Let's get a Stalker and Warp Gate. Why Stalker? Because it's this matchup, guys. And we want to rally that to the middle, because a Reaper often runs into our main, doesn't it? So we want to be ready for that against a Terran. Hello? Hello? Okay, I didn't... What the... Okay, we got very lucky this game. I was like, well, I need to see the command center. I thought I should have already seen it. I definitely should have. All right, guys, we've got Stalkers on the way. We see there's Proxy Marauders coming in. Let's grab a bunch of probes, okay? And these guys are all going to come down here. I'm going to build more batteries, and we're going to try to build that Robo still, but on the natural, okay? Because if we get Immortals out, it shuts down this sort of thing. Do we have Chrono Energy? Always monitor your energy. Yeah, we've got one more Chrono available, so let's build another Stalker here. And this is a 3 racks all in, guys. Our Stalkers are going to go forward, because as long as we have the battery, and we'll have Overcharge soon. So we just got some good damage there for free. And we've got all these probes ready on a second control group. So we can defend here, okay? Now, I'm going to build another pylon, because if I don't manually heal this pylon quickly enough, by clicking the battery, going restore, and then clicking it on the pylon, it will die, and I will lose all of my production. Do not chrono boost. We need battery overcharge, okay, guys? So we're going to battery overcharge. And notice I didn't even focus fire my Stalkers. We just focused on the most important thing. Why? Because I'm a platinum player and I make mistakes. I also haven't been probing this whole time. But look, I've got money. I'm not supply blocked. I might as well. We'll chrono boost an Immortal. We'll keep making Stalkers. You just make Stalkers and Immortals best defensive units here. And we could even hold position if we're going to look away so that our units are all like in range. But we're just going to pull back a little bit, okay? And we'll build another Immortal. Okay, guys, let's go back to probing. Now, I never fixed this rally point, so let's fix these guys up back on gas. Let's build 2 more gateways, and we can build another pylon there. Get another pylon over here. Oh, actually, that's enough for now. And okay, there's an expansion, so it's no longer all in, guys. Now, when your opponent commits this hard to a proxy, it's very important to go kill those buildings before they get stim and too many units out. So the moment this next Immortal pops out, we're going to use that and the sentry, and we're going to go fuck up those barracks. Now, we want to keep macroing behind it, so because we're going to be distracted by micro in a moment when this comes out, I'm queuing up extra probes. I'm making sure my camera locations are good. 3rd base, 4th base, 5th base. We're building an extra pylon here or there. We've got these gateways on a hotkey. Here we go. Now we can build an observer. All right, let's do it. So we're going to A-move down there to the proxy. We're going to watch it a little bit. I'm selecting my next line. What are we doing, guys? Probes, 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 probes. And let's kill these add-ons before they can get these upgrades. Now, hopefully we get it before the upgrade's finished. Nice. And he's going to go GG. Okay, GG. Now, what was I about to do behind it, guys? Remember, when you lose track of a game, it's tempting here to go counterattack. And if you've got enough APM, I absolutely could go for an attack move to a staging point, but what would I have done? It's really important to study these situations. Second Robo Bay. Double gas. Oh, double gas should have been first, right? Because notice we're past 12 workers on the main. The main kind of became the natural in this scenario because we pulled so many probes down. Because I thought I would have to pull probes to fight a lot earlier. I didn't have to, but it is what it is. We'd basically keep building Immortals. We'd build probes until we're at 45. Notice we're full in the main, so we'd rally to the natural. Build a few more probes. Rally there. That's going to take us up to 45 probes. Awesome. What's next? What do we do, guys? Same as always. Twilight Forge. And then build an extra pylon or 2. 5 more gateways. Except, wait a second. We're doing a 3rd base now, aren't we? Gotta remember the new build order. 3rd base pylon. Then we'd go to Colossus. Then we would go for the Twilight Forge and the gateways. Stick to the build order. When you're learning a new build order, you're kind of creating new pathways in your brain. You're creating new patterns and habits. So there we go, guys. 2 Colossus and Viagra. Did these pylons not build in the main? Apparently they didn't. So we are a little bit supply blocked. That's all right. Build a few pylons. Sorry, I'm playing a little bit fast right now, trying to explain new things to you guys and fumbling a little bit. But that's all right. We've got the 2 Colossus started as these pylons kick in. And now that the Nexus is up, we can rally there, build more probes. And we can now do the double chrono. Finally. Twilight into Forge. Took a little while to get organized. Why? Because the build got thrown off. You need extra focus on the basics of your build to make sure you do it in games like this. And people always go, why are you still in it? He's left, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. So the difference is there's people who want to win StarCraft and all they care about is murdering their opponent. And these are the people who chronically lose StarCraft games because they never take the time to think about, oh, I won, but what could I have done better? What habit could I have improved on? Did I follow my build correctly? What was the next step? What was the next thing that I need to improve on? What did I do sloppy? These are the things you want to be asking yourself. So if you're actually, why do I hang around in the game? Because as a player who's always trying to think one step ahead, I always have a shopping list of things that I need to do in a StarCraft game, but I haven't got to them yet. Now, why haven't I got to them? Because the mother trucker was building barracks outside my base and I had to survive. So I had to build batteries, chrono immortals, cut probes, but that means I'm behind on everything else in my build. So for me, I have an almost compulsion at this point, a need to go and finish the build because I'm like, okay, I delayed this, I haven't done it, I've delayed that, and I go through all those steps in the build, and that's the big important thing. And you guys can do this. You can practice so much just by playing for an extra minute or two after your opponent leaves and going, man, we were busy fighting, I was killing his stuff, I'm behind on my macro, let's do a macro cycle, build a few more pylons, do the next part of my build, start whooping in some zealots here. Let's make sure we get those disruptors, keep chrono boosting. Let's take the gases on the, you know, obviously you don't need to stay in this long if you don't want to, but it's really good to build the habit because the trap of StarCraft is most players end up in a highly reactive state all game long. They're like, what's he doing? What's he doing? What's he doing? And the path to improvement is just focusing inwards. What can I do better? And once you get better at mastering that, then you can occasionally look at specific things your opponent does and react to it with pinpoint accuracy and crush it. React to that. Small reaction here, small reaction there. People get the idea that StarCraft is you just dodging bullets Matrix style. It's not. It's you just doing push-ups until you can do 1,000 push-ups. It's you just playing a song 10,000 times until you can play it at triple speed, perfect timing. You know, it's just building habits and muscle memory. And then once you're that god tier at it, you can play improv jazz music with an opponent, with someone. You can do a fucking handstand push-up because you do 1,000 regular push-ups, even though it's a pretty different muscle group. You get the point. You get the point. Okay, so what was the big lesson from that game? Game 2 was just standard PvZ, standard new PvZ build. I don't think there was any big lessons from that, was there? Let's go game 3, which was proxy 2, you know, racks at home plus 2 racks proxied. So what is the tell, guys? Tell no CC at a minute 40 is huge. So the really important thing here is don't lose your probe. So the way I could have scouted this is very simple. Don't lose the probe. And I knew there was an SCV following the probe, so there was a very simple way to not lose it. And I'll tell you guys that technique now. So all you want to do, you scout. This looks like a normal build, right? There is a tell, but I don't expect you guys to notice. And that is that there's not enough SCVs in this base, which is very suspicious. Okay? That's very suspicious. Because that should have 2 more workers in it. But those two, the workers down here. He's missed building 1 worker. He's at 18 when he should be at 19. And he's got a worker on the other side of the map. So that, a high level player could notice that potentially. But assuming you don't, which you usually won't. There's another tell here. Where's the orbital, guys? Why hasn't he started the orbital? The barracks is finished. What do you do when the barracks finishes? You build a marine or a reaper or a reactor and you make an orbital. So that's another tell. I'm not expecting you guys to notice any of these. These are advanced tells. These are things you're not going to notice. At this point, oh, he's chasing me with an SCV. So, okay, what do I do, guys? I can do a 3-point patrol path. Hold down shift, patrol, click there, patrol, click there, patrol, click there. You just do a triangle and your probe's just going to move around and it'll occasionally get hit by an SCV, but it won't die ever because it'll just keep regenning shields in between the attacks unless they pull the marine down. And then if they haven't put this down by a minute 50, where's their money going? So that's already a big sign of, okay, this is suspicious, right? This is very, very suspicious. So basically this tells us that our opponent could be proxying. They could have built the command center on the high ground technically. They could also be proxying, okay? So that is an advanced tell. No CC, let's say 150 equals, you know, could be, you know, proxy racks all in, right? So basically it's one gas, but no CC at 150. Could be a proxy racks all in. Oh, what are you doing? No, I didn't click shit. What's the other big tell here? No orbital, plus 2 SCVs missing in mineral line. Should be 15 or 16 on minerals. There was only 13. Okay. So that's the advanced tell, like I said. So I'm just going to write those down. Okay. But anyway, so that's the first thing. Now, this is already getting to the point where you're like, okay, what can we do? Small reaction equals just make a battery and do build as normal. Big reaction equals scout for proxies, right? Because we normally chrono multiple stalkers, having a battery plus that usually will keep you safe against these sort of things. Not necessarily, but probably. Just having a battery saves you against so many things and pulling probes to fight. Scout for proxies, go immortal first, and triple chrono. Scout for proxies with a probe, yeah, with a probe or two. Go immortal first, triple chrono on gateway. So the problem with the big reaction is, what if the command center is just on the high ground? If you go through, I really feel like just doing, oh, okay, I'll just build a shield battery and do build as normal. And this is why, don't get me wrong, guys, there's nothing wrong with, if you guys really want, you could just build a shield battery every game at, I don't know, just after the robo starts at like 2.5 minutes, basically. So go Stalker, Warp Gate, and then we'd go for a robo here, normally. And then we'd be like, okay, let's just put a battery down 2.5 minutes or so. If you guys want to do that every game, it's fine. It's only 100 minerals. It keeps you safe against a lot of BS. It's totally fine. I like to teach people to do things with intention and really optimize their build. So if we can use that 100 minerals instead for more probes, more production, that's great. But definitely, this is like a very tricky sort of build. And the thing is, these are not very optimized because they've got to build a barracks at home and this sort of stuff. So it's a very late attack and it's a kind of shit attack. 2 Marauders at 3 minutes is really just nothing to be scared of, right? If you just pull probes, you defend that even without the shield battery. But if you lose your stalkers, you react slowly, then you pull probes, suddenly you're in trouble, right? So I think even if I didn't realize this was happening at all, I actually would have been fine as long as I reacted quickly. I could have just pulled back, pulled probes, chrono and immortal once my robo is done. My robo is actually late this game, funnily enough. If I'd actually just done the build normally, I think my robo would normally start slightly earlier. Because I was like, oh god, there's a proxy racks, and explaining what was happening. I think I was actually a little bit slower on that. I also pulled probes off gas. Because I was like, oh man, he's going to kill me right now. But then I realized it was a much slower attack than I'd anticipated. So, yeah, it's hard to always know for sure if an all-in's coming. But when your opponent does something tricky where they build some buildings at home to make it look kind of normal, but they also proxy, it comes at the cost of their build being way less optimized and way less efficient, as well as way more all-in. So you might be able to sometimes defend the ultra-tricky builds without even realizing they're coming. And that's something to keep in mind. If someone goes straight across with 2 SCVs, 3 SCVs, builds 4 barracks right outside your base, they're going to hit a crisp, difficult timing. But if you scout it, you should have plenty of time to react, right? And you can adjust and shut it down. These builds are a little bit trickier because they're harder to confirm they're coming, but they also hit with a much softer timing. That's the give or take that you're going to run into in StarCraft 2. All right, everybody, PvP is on the way. This is our first PvP of Platinum League. It's a very special, simple build because we're out of the metal leagues. Wait, is platinum's a metal, isn't it? Shit. We're not. We're almost out of the metal leagues, and PvP is a very special matchup, and we need to teach you guys how to 2-gate expand. Now, the reason why we have to teach you how to 2-gate expand is even though you see a lot of the pros play 1-gate expand, and a lot of people I see in Diamond, Masters, Plat, all doing 1-gate expands because they think, well, that's how the pros play. I've got news for you. GMs don't play like that. Some do, don't get me wrong, especially some of the Europeans that copy the pros, but like there's a lot of top GMs and pro gamers who don't actually play 1-gate expand. And the reason is it dies to so many all-ins unless you are a max packs level player who is a master of scouting and defending and adapting to things. Now, but Pig, wait, you've been teaching us one gate. I've been teaching you because thankfully people in the lower levels don't execute their builds very well. No offense. They just don't. That's just a fact. And here we go. Get a second gate now. I normally don't wall off with the... I normally build the first gate back here, then I build the second gate in the core there, but I'll show you guys that in the next game. We only did 1 chrono on probes, by the way. No more than that, okay, guys? We come over here for the cybercore. Thankfully, people don't execute it, and I wanted to give you guys one thing to learn, because I really feel bronze, silver, gold, it's all about just getting the fundamentals down, and I think it's too complicated if you start trying to focus on learning a different build at once. Now, look, he's doing a 2-gate as well, so we're both doing the same build. What we're going to do is we're going to pretend we're going home by clicking here, and I'm going to shift-click up over here, and we're going to do a proxy there, okay? Because we're doing a 1-base 4-gate. So this is a 2-gate opening rather than 1-gate expand, because it's much safer in PvP. And down the line, I'm going to teach you guys how to follow this up with Robo, expanding, Robo, all a similar sort of vein to what we've been doing so far in this Bronze to GM. The reason we're not doing that yet is because we're already learning Disruptors and a 3rd base and all these different things. Let's chrono those first 2 Stalkers as well. And, oh shit, that pylon should have already gone. That pylon's late, guys. That's really sloppy for me. That's going to supply block the next 2 Stalkers coming out. Notice the second I get 50 gas, I need to queue up this next Stalker. Come on. Okay, there we go. Not too bad, not too bad. And because we stop on 16 workers, 3 and 3, I didn't get supply block. Now we build a gateway right after that there, and we build a 4th gate at home. And we can pull this guy off gas. We only need 2 on one gas, 3 on the other. And we're ready to build a pylon. If our opponent comes in, we're just moving across to see if we see any adepts coming across. And if he comes in with a adept or 2, we can block him off by building a pylon there, okay? Normally you build a shield battery, but my pylon's a bit far back this time, so we can go pylon and then cancel it after the shade's done. We do need 1 more Stalker there, a little slow on that. And then we want to go Warp Gate after that. Okay, so he's fighting me. If we're ever caught off in a fight, just pull back. And we want to chrono boost this Warp Gate, guys. That's the most important thing. Put another pylon there, because otherwise we'll be supply blocked, and there we go. All right, so we ran away. We lost that fight because I was surprised by it. But now as we group up our Stalkers, if he's still here, we'll win it. And we're going to just attack 1 Stalker and then shift right-click on the other Stalker, okay? Now, that's pretty lazy micro. I could have done better there if I moved forward and stutter stepped on it, but that's okay. Let's grab these guys as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and kill him, and then we're going to kill these guys. Now, if you grab the weak one and pull it back, that's really good micro. And here we can go move forward, A move. Move forward, A move. And in this case, I'm just going to click across the map. I'm not actually going to attack him because he's not a threat. We're going to warp in our first 4 Stalkers. Up there, I've got that on a camera location. And we're just going to meet up at the front, and you should be hitting with 10 Stalkers just after the 4-minute mark. So 1 base all in, guys. And look at that. Oh, shit, he has more units than me, so we're going to run away. We're going to run away, run away. Ah! All right, guys. So my army split up. These guys, I'm going to steal onto Control Group 3. And we're just going to keep making Stalkers there. Now, you might think, what's the next step? We'll build a shield battery, and I'll build a pylon there in case we do end up defending our base. But for now, if he comes across, we're going to come forward. We're going to try and group up our Stalkers over here again. These guys, though, are about to run up a ledge. So let's bring the guys in from the right first. Check that he's not still there. He's still there. He's still there. Run away. Okay, back on Control Group 2. These guys here, back on Control Group 3. If he chases me, just keep making Stalkers. If he chases me, these guys can do a run by, kill some probes, and then recall home. Okay? Build another pylon. Just keep building pylons, keep making units. This is an all-in attack. If this doesn't work, we GG and we get out of it. But he also, to have that many units and a warp prism, must also be doing a 1 base all-in. Now, a really good unit in this scenario that you might not think about is the Zealot. The Zealot is not an armored unit, and it has really good stats. So the great thing about the Zealot is it tanks a lot of damage and just makes the fight a bit harder for your opponent to manage. So we're going to send this probe in, guys, ahead of this. If he's on this ledge, we don't want to run into that. Let's build 1 more pylon. Oh, hello. Remember, I do have recall available, guys. We're not using chrono. Is he still here? All right. Oh, hello, guys. That's an immortal. Let's kill this immortal. So I've grabbed these Stalkers all together, and we're going to attack it, and then we want to move. You want to move past it, and then you want to shoot, and then you want to right-click, and you want to shoot, and then you want to right-click, and then you want to shoot. Now, we killed it, so let's group up. Let's try and recall all these guys. And we want to attack with our probes as well. So our probes are on 3, our army's on 2. We're going to use battery overcharge, and we're just going to A-move. Now, my Stalkers are stuck behind each other, so we're going to move forward. And if we can get the Prism, that's going to be big. And notice we just annihilated his army really hard. Woo! GG! So, good recall there. We caught the Immortal, we did the recall, and our probes really helped us in that fight. Let's rewind. Cosmic did really good there. He countered my build because he does a 3-gate robo, which is better than just a 4-gate. If he'd expanded, it would be a really easy win. But sometimes your opponent will stay on one base and the game will get weird, and that's okay. Your games are going to be quick. You're going to get a lot of repetitions, and that's what the PvP is all about, okay? With this build, it's all about getting your opening tight. So remember, guys, first thing you want to check at the end of the game, did I warp in my Stalkers straight away after Warp Gate? No. I think it was a little slow. So notice my Warp Gate's transforming. I've got 4 gateways here, so I should be warping in right now, 345, 344. Maybe could be even slightly faster than that. We warped in on 350. We're 5 seconds late. I can do better on that. Let's improve that for the next one. And we should have 10 Stalkers at the front of their base just after 4 minutes. Now, I only have 8. Why do I only have 8? Because we've traded, right? We both lost 2 Stalkers each, I believe. Or it looks like maybe he lost 3 and I lost 2, but now I lose a 3rd one. And I can't group up because I was chasing his Stalker down the left of the map. Normally, I'd push down the same side as my proxy so I could warp in there. And I have to back off. But overall, not a terrible build. I just want to reiterate the opening, guys. It's a really standard opening. Where we go. 14 pylon, 16 gate. We chrono the probes. We take a gas. We go for a gate scout. We then take a second gas. And then we go second gate on 19 into Cybercore on 20. You want to always start that the second this gateway is finished. Very important. I see a lot of players, even in GM, start the Cybercore late. We want that Cybercore down the moment the gate finishes, okay, guys? So try to be on point with those timings. My gate probably could have started a few seconds earlier as well. So pylon the moment you have 100 minerals. Gate the second that pylon finishes. Cybercore immediately up. You got to be really tight on this, okay? That's the big part because Cybercore needs to be out on time so you can start 2 Stalkers, then Warp Gate plus chrono the Warp Gate, then another... Sorry. We don't chrono the Warp Gate until later, actually. When I practiced it this morning, I did it the wrong way. Got confused. I've written it correctly in the build notes down below. Double chrono the first 2 Stalkers. But remember, start this pylon first and foremost. So start the pylon, then double chrono, and make sure you queue up your 3rd and 4th Stalkers. So if you chrono maybe halfway through these first 2 Stalkers, that means we don't accidentally overshoot on that 3rd and 4th one, which is fine. Now, moving across, I moved across the map, and we notice if we do that, our Stalkers split up. That's good for catching adepts, but it means if we run into the enemy Stalkers, we might end up in a 2v1 and losing that fight. So you got to be careful letting your Stalkers split up. Better to spot adepts, worse versus Stalkers. So you need to keep an eye on it so you react a bit quicker. If you run into enemy units, you can quickly pull back and not throw these Stalkers away. If you guys are a big newbie, maybe you just leave the Stalkers here at your natural. First time doing it, you don't need to move out. Just keep them at the natural. And that's going to be safer. It's going to be easier, okay? So, you've done your 2 chronos. You've built your pylon. You started your 3rd and 4th Stalker immediately. There should be no downtime on these gateways. 3rd gateway goes down. 4th gateway goes down. Not building any probes. And then we're going to queue up a 5th and 6th Stalker here, which I think I was a little bit late on these guys as well. 5th Stalker starts. 6th one didn't start straight away, see? Where's that 6th Stalker? A few seconds delayed. So just these little seconds of delay, they do add up. They do mess things up. And remember, as soon as we get that 50 energy, after starting the 5th Stalker, you gotta chrono that to get Warp Gate done. So right after these Stalkers are finished, our Warp Gate, you'll see, will finish. And that chrono gets it just to like 98, 99. All 4 gateways transform. That gives us fast warp in on this pylon. That's where we build a gateway. Warp in the Stalkers. If we weren't skirmishing with him, our 6 Stalkers would have moved up north. They would have met up with these 4 Stalkers here, and we would have gone in for the win. Cosmic, who I was playing it, says, how do you micro in this situation? I was mostly trying to target fire and pull back weak units. That's the main thing. If you want to keep it simple, just A move and just focus on pulling back weak units. Or just focus on moving forward and focus firing. Now, if you have a Warp Prism, the only point of a Warp Prism is if you have really good micro. So, Cosmic, you went a 3-gate robo, You should have been building Immortals. There's no reason for you to use a Warp Prism. What's the point of the Warp Prism? It's to allow you to pick up weak Stalkers and drop them and dodge enemy projectiles like you've got Blink. You're a Platinum player, you're not gonna pull that off. It's better for you to just build a few Immortals or an Immortal then a Prism. That's gonna generally be a bit more of an effective way of doing it. Because Immortals UA move and they kill Stalkers like crazy. Now, I did warp in some Zealots, and those are very useful units versus enemy Immortals and Stalkers, but just to keep in mind, that's the way to do it. The big mistake Cosmic made in this game, though, was moving into my base. He could kill the gateways, pick off, but as soon as he saw the recall, he needed to run away. Did he save Chrono? He did save recall energy, which is good, but yeah. He obviously lost the Immortal rallying across the map as well. But this is essentially something where you could run in, kill the pylon, kill the gateway, but as soon as you see the recall, you got to run because I have battery, I have warp in defender's advantage, and I have probes. We're in one base versus one base. Our bases are going to start mining out in the next few minutes. Having a probe advantage doesn't matter. It's whoever wins the army versus army battle. You're making army on one base, I'm making army on one base. Whoever wins that fight wins the game. So going into your opponent's base, it's good because I wasn't there. But the moment you see me recalling, you should just be like, no worries, kill the pylon, kill the gate, get out of here. Easy peasy. But committing into a deep attack would only have made sense if I was expanding and building probes and tech. And you're like, sweet, he has less army than me, I've got a way bigger army, let's go. But we can see I actually had more Stalkers by 3, and the Warp Prism isn't going to make up for that unless you have the most insane micro ever. And probes are really good for tanking. GG's. Alright gang, we're getting into a versus Zerg game. Now, there was a big discussion going on after that earlier Terran game where I stumbled across the proxy, and people were saying, well, why not just build a shield battery every game, you know? And a shield battery, we've basically talked about it, we had a whole discussion, and I was like, look, people are like, but really, how, like, does it actually put you behind? Like, does it really put you behind in a game? And I was like, well, yeah, if you build a shield battery every game blind, you don't need it. It puts you 100 minerals behind, you know, the cost of the shield battery. And it's pretty early in the game, so that's a lot of opportunity cost at that moment in the game. It's not the end of the world. I mean, it has an amazing amount of defensive capability. And even Pro poked his head in chat. We were talking about, like, look, building random turrets in your base that people do. Cannons, spores. Those are crimes against humanity. Those are actually painful for me to watch. Someone who builds a blind battery on their natural every game, I can shrug my shoulders and go, fair enough, that's fine. I think a general rule you can apply is, when in doubt, just build a battery, and that's fine. Or, you know what, I'm getting cheesed a lot this week, there's tons of crazy rushes, it's going to make me feel more comfortable, just build a battery every game. I have no problem with that. The reason I'm not teaching that for you guys is because I don't really know what the meta is at any given time. And I think just as a habit, just always rushing a shield battery, it does make you stronger against a lot of weird surprise attacks in the very early game. But it also makes you weaker against other attacks. If someone's hitting you at 4.5, 5 minutes with a lot of units, and you've delayed your tanks, you've delayed your gateways and your robo and your immortal in order to build that early shield battery, well, technically the shield battery has actually weakened you against that attack because you have less units than you should. And I know that's a concept that can be a little difficult to wrap your heads around sometimes, but essentially, if you build defense too early, it weakens you. It's the same thing. If I stop building probes right now and just start making only gateway units, that's really bad for me a few minutes from now because I just won't have as much money to work from. You want to invest in your workers, your infrastructure, your upgrades as early as possible. Save your army and defensive things for later in the game. And this is just a concept that I think is very important to focus on. Which is why I'm not telling you guys always build a shield battery. Try to get a bit better at your scouting. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not adept scouting still. I'm still playing completely blind. I might die to some more builds. If you guys are like, look, I'm not good enough to adept scout, but I keep dying to Zerg aggression. Every Zerg game, maybe I build a shield battery right now after starting our Stalker, our second year. I'm down for it, guys. I'm totally down for it. If you want to do that, do it. I'm just not going to tell you to do it. And this is something people get angry at me because they go, no, you're the teacher. You need to tell us how to play. And I go, that's never been my approach. My approach has been teach a man to fish. He can feed himself for a lifetime. It's always been that. I've never been the player who wants to just say, this is how you play in every situation. Always, it's optimal. You have to do this. This is the way to do it. I don't like teaching. I like to teach concepts and teach people how to think. And for me, just conceptually, I think learning when to build things as a reaction is really nice. I think it's really satisfying to scout your opponent doing something suspect and build a reactive shield battery. To me, that feels bloody good. Did we forget to build the pylon, guys? Forgot to build the pylon, didn't we? Shit. So I canceled the immortal so I can keep up pro production, which means I'm a little vulnerable. Oh, what? Oh, guys, he's got an overlord here. Now, going out for that overlord means lings could run in. Don't do it. You want to do it? It's tempting. Don't do it. I've lost games to it many times. Let's go double gas now. We're past 12 workers on the natural. So we got 3 gateway units, guys. The immortal is now finally actually building. Build a few more proby probes. And let's go for that second Robo Bay. No worries. First immortal's a bit late, but that's okay. All right, guys. We see a lot of drones on the natural. First sign of we're not going to die. We don't see a ton of roaches and lings popping out. Lots of drones in the main as well as a lair. And it looks like maybe a third base. So we can check for third bases and then sit out front. Let's keep building probes here. Put a few more on gas on the natural. I know I'm playing a little fast. I'll try to slow down a little bit. Build a few zealots here just to get some nice gas cheap units to mix in there. Build a few pylons. And, well, what's next, guys? Third base. So let's go out to our third. Once again, I think with this build against Zerg, I do like this third base over here normally. And then fourth base there, fifth base there. All right, let's go for the third Nexus and the pylon before getting into the Colossus production. But oh, roaches are coming. I don't know if that's a big attack or not. Oh god, it is. Okay, let's build a shield battery, guys. Pull behind our wall and add to hotkey. What are we making right now? Let's focus on the robo production. It's tempting to warp in, but I'm going to make an immortal. I might have to cancel that third base. Let's cancel this third base. Let's cancel it. Let's just play safe right now. As long as we sit in our natural, we should be okay. We'll make a few stalkers here as well. They're pretty good basic fighting units. Build a few pylons. All right, let's scout. How committed is this, guys? Let's check. Because if there's a lot of drones on the third, I need to move out and take my third base. Ah, he's just built drones. You see, drones just popped out. So he had no drones on his third, but he's just built them. So good move. So let's move out, secure my third base, and take a new third base and pylon, okay? So we were playing, you could argue I was playing overly safe there. But better safe than sorry, right? Alright, guys. We built a few more immortals. Why didn't we build Colossus? Immortals are much better versus roaches. We're just going to sit in between these bases here, okay? Alright, so next up, guys, is going to be our probes non-stop. We're on 1633. 1633. Let's add this to the hotkey. Rally it. Send to the camera location. Build more probes. Rally him there. We can build that shield battery I talked about as well. Alright, let's build our 2 Colossi. Chrono them. And then we want the Viagra upgrade, which we can't afford just yet. And we'll get that started. There we go. All right, guys. So he's built a bunch of drones for the third. I did just see a roach pop out, though. Let's just try and... Looks like a lot more roaches are coming out. Okay. I'm going to make a sentry for Guardian Shield. Otherwise, just zealots. And after these 2 Colossi, we'll make 2 Disruptors. I'm going to queue those up right now. Let's grab some probes. And let's rally to the third base, shall we? Keep building more probes. Keep building more pylons. So I can keep producing. Looks like he's building more roaches. Ooh, he's here. Guys, we want to heal that pylon. Oh, I didn't click it in time. It's sloppy for me, but that's all right. Now notice I just pulled back my zealots and I A-moved my immortals. That's pretty advanced micro. But if your zealots end up all in front like this, you can just pull them back and then A-move the rest of your army forward. Okay. All right, let's keep building probes. Try and get the gases up here. Get another pylon as well. And... what's next? You guys know it. Twilight Forge. I like to build it near the robos so I can chrono them all at once. Build a few more pylons so it's not an Artosis pylon. And we see lots of drones and roaches. Oh, that's an Overseer, guys. So let's move our Observer away. We're just going to try to actually... If there's an Overseer there, someone was saying earlier, what if they keep killing your Observers? And I was saying, just go sit in between their bases. The Overseer is unlikely to run back here. Put guys on gas. We're building probably our last few probes right now. Queue up just 3 more to get to 66. Beautiful. All right, guys, back. We've got 2 Colossus, now 2 Disruptors on a different control group. They click to a Colossus. All we're doing is building Immortals, and then we're going to be going for the +1, Chrono it, Charge, Chrono it, 5 Gateways, Templar Archives, okay? Now remember, you could build a lot more Gateways than 8 on 3 base. The reason we're not is we're going to prioritize queuing up extra Robo units to make sure that production is non-stop, okay? Oh, Templar Archives as well. Yeah, there we go. Extra pylon. All right. See, because Robo downtime and I have no money right now. It's expensive, guys. More Immortals building, more Immortals. What do we see? Double Evo chamber, macro hatchery. Now, if you really want, you can even circle around and... Is there a hive? What's building? There's Lings building. Is there a spire in the back? What's going on? You can do all that, but it looks like just Roach Hydra. Hydra's where the gas is going. Big ground army, and that's fair enough. Oh, I just built a Disruptor. We only want 2 guys. We want to keep it really simple. We don't want to spam Disruptors. We just want to use 2 of them, okay? Now, let's go build some pylons out here and think about taking a 4th. Let's also... I don't want to get caught by like a base trade, so I'm just going to build a few pylons around. That's both going to max out my supply, and it's just going to give me a little bit more stability here. Keep chrono boosting me upgrades and me robos here. And oh my. Okay, guys, let's throw those disruptor shots. One there, one there. Our army A move. Big disruptor shots there. I'm going to activate Guardian Shield as well. Now, I could also overcharge. We're very slow on the overcharge. Just showing you guys how to do things very slowly and steadily, very organized. So it's A move, disruptor shots, then bonus abilities. That's my priority generally. Alright guys, let's make as many Archons as we can. And we can grab probes from the main, 8 of them, send them to the 4th. And we could even build some cannons and batteries if we really want to. If you guys get to the point where you have a lot of money but you're waiting before you move out, I'm okay with you building a few more cannons and batteries. We don't want to get too addicted to this because we do want to go kill him. We just crushed an army. And on my next Zealot warp in, actually I don't have a Prism. Shit, I keep forgetting the Prism while I'm talking you guys through this new build, and it's pretty derpy. Okay, I guess we're just going to be warping in Zealots at home, guys. Click the Colossus on the Disruptors on the Colossus. Warping in Zealots here, as many as I can. Adding them to the army, and let's move forward for the win now. Okay, so the Observer's going to just stay where it is. We don't have anything to clear creep. I'll build a new Observer rallied to my army along with a Prism up here. And we're just going to try to move up this ramp. Hopefully I don't get surrounded. If we sit too long, we'll make it easy for him to surround us. There we go, there's his army. Throw one disruptor shot out and throw another disruptor shot down south. Those are both massive, massive, massive disruptor shots. My Prism is almost going to die, but luckily it survives. Click the Colossus back on the disruptors back on the Colossus. Let's make more Zealots. Remember, we like making Zealots. Control click, shift them into the army because they just warp in really quickly. Fastest units to reinforce. And we can just kind of continue forward. The only thing you really want to do is every now and then chrono and upgrade. We don't want to build any more probes ever. You could just transfer them as they run out, like that. Alright guys, so we can just move in now. If you want to do a bit of aggressive stutter step when you have the numbers advantage like this, you can box all these slower units and kind of move them forward, A-click, move them forward, A-click, move them forward, A-click. But you gotta be careful, your Colossus have longer range, so every now and then you might want to just move them on top of everything else. You throw a Disruptor shot every now and then if you feel like it. And see how we go. GG, well played. The Disruptor shot. Imba! Big balls. Imba big balls. Yeah. GGG, man. So, yeah. So the Roach Pressure was really cute, guys. I actually quite like that little Roach Pressure. How many Roaches was it? So, you know, you don't always see the whole picture. There might be more. It looks like it was literally 5 Roaches and 2 Zerglings. I had an Immortal, a bunch of Stalkers, Zealots, and an Adept. So I played overly safe here, accounting for the fact that you guys aren't going to have the best minimap awareness. There's 8 Roaches if you count these 3. So it's 8 Roaches and 2 Slow Zergs. It's not a great force poking and prodding at my base, is it? But I played it safe. I built a battery, and we kind of pulled back there, and we just chilled. So could have easily moved down and defended my 3rd. I said, let's just play really safe. Let's cancel it. I don't know if there's mass Ling coming in behind this or something. And we just checked. Hey, if he's not droning his 3rd, I don't need to move out. I can just sit on 2 base for a little while. But remember, I saw he's droning his 3rd, and that prompted me to say, okay, I can move out. If he's making drones, I can move out, take my 3rd, build more probes, and just continue my build. Yeah. Yeah, my Observer might have missed mass Speedling coming out. And if they surround a couple of Immortal Stalkers and like 2 Zealots, that's a problem. Ling Ravager is very scary. Yeah, as GC points out. Pig, can you explain why you put your 3rd base where you put it? It's just a slightly closer distance between the bases. In PvZ, the distance you want to be as small as possible between the bases. I'm not worried about drops against Zerg because they normally don't drop. So then being able to attack and then pick up and drop in the main is not really a threat like it is against Terran. So taking the 3rd there is quite nice because it's just a little bit less ground distance between it. My army can sit in between the 3rd and the natural and kind of defend both bases nice and easily. All right, guys, we got ourselves a PVT. Let's talk you guys through it as we play the Platinum PVT. Just going to do this standard build once again. Let's grab a probe down here. About 10 seconds, send it down to the natural, and we can build that pylon. And then we just mine 5 minerals. Now, if you don't want to mine the 5 minerals, you can just chill here with this probe. That's totally fine. I like to try to return 5 minerals, but sometimes it delays the gateway by a few seconds, which is not really worth it. So if you just want to wait there with the probe, that's totally fine. Just do the same thing every game. I sometimes show different things. I'm a high-level player. I've been playing tens of thousands of hours. I have muscle memory with like 15,000 different opening builds. You guys don't have that, so when you're starting, try to just, if there's not a reason to change it, try to just do it the same way, because it really helps you build that repetition to the point where you can play it automatically, okay? 16 workers here on minerals. Just trying to double them up there a little bit. Make sure our mining's optimized. Maybe I won't do that yet. We're still in plat. Probably don't want to start doing that till diamond. Maybe even diamond 2 before I really start focusing on that. Anyways, we're just going to scout around and hide behind the natural. Same scouting system as always, guys. We rally a probe to our natural. We go control 3. Double tap 2, double tap 3. B-San is a 3100 Terran, guys. And this should be a very fun game. Let's mine 5 minerals. This 5 minerals, there's no reason not to do it, because you need 150 for the cyber core. And we're going to go for that down here. It's a Terran, so we don't need a tight wall off. We'll leave a 2-space gap. And we go back to probing in the main. We can take a second gas and go straight back to mining. Make sure that guy stays on that patch. Get a pylon. Keep building probes. All right, guys, so let's look at our scout now that our opening's kind of done. So command center. Hey, okay, command center's on the way, so we can just try to run home with our probe. Might die to a Reaper. It's okay. We see a bunker as well. So just a standard safe Terran opening. Nothing to write home about. Well, if he dies, he could die to a Reaper if they built it any moment now, but that's all right. Let's make a Stalker plus Warp Gate. Chrono boost that Stalker and rally back to the middle, because the Reaper could jump into our base. If you go outside, you might get a hit or two on the Reaper, but then he's inside your base and you have to run all the way back to defend your probes. So why set yourself up to be in an annoying position? Just rally to the safe spot from the start, queue up an Adept, and let's get that Robo, shall we? Now, if you guys are returning already, you can send it back, tell it to return. But more importantly here is chrono the probes. We can chrono an Adept as well if we want, that's fine. Oh wait, I see you, dirty Reaper man. Alright, Stalker's on the ledge. Now, of course, if you start a step towards him, that's really good. Makes it very hard for him to get out. I'm going to let him escape, because that is pretty advanced micro. And we're going to make 1 Adept, and then just another Stalker to be safe here. So, 2 Stalkers and an Adept. Oh! That probe was on my hotkey there, so... Anyways, focus on the build. I'm getting distracted by little things right now. Let's build 2 more gateways, as well as a pylon there. Add them to the hotkey, queue up a few more probes. And we're looking pretty good. Let's chrono the observer out.
Where shall we march?
Alright, I'm just going to put all these guys on 1 hotkey. I think that's fine. Get a few more of these probes. 1 more pylon. And then after that pylon, remember, 12 workers on the natural. We hit that number. You take it a few seconds earlier or later, it's not a big deal. As long as you're prioritizing everything else. Observer goes across the map. We put that on control 3. And we're now going to chrono boost the Immortal. Okay.
Research completed.
Get a few more probies out. And let's put guys on gas straight away. Technically, I'm doing it a few seconds early, but it doesn't matter. Alright, just going to build another pylon there. And let's go for that second Robo and Robo Bay, guys. Nice. Last couple of probes queuing up here. And if you want, you can build a few more observers. We've seen an expand build. It seems pretty standard, expand into bunker. So, especially against Terran, they like to drop and do a lot of liberators and stuff. If we want to build 2 more observers as a special for this matchup, I think that's a really good idea. Now, what do we see, guys? We see a tank, sign of defense, 2 barracks, stim upgrading, starport. Looks like a very standard setup. I'm just going to set the observer up there inside the base to chill for now, okay? Now, let's go get that 3rd and a pylon. Okay. Oh, we forgot to build a few more gateway units. Should have already warped in when that warp gate finished. And what are we going to do with our observers? I'm going to put one down here just to look for drops going towards my main base and shift siege. And this observer, I'll just put outside my base, kind of towards the middle, and shift siege as well, okay? All right, time for the double Colossus now that we've started our third base. But, oh no, we're supply blocked. That's all right. That's all right, because that pylon finishes. There we go. It starts up a few seconds later. At least I didn't have the chrono boost energy, though, to waste on it, which is nice. Build a few more pylons here. And that should be great, guys. We're in a really good position. Let's get the shield battery at this third base. And we're just kind of building probes and chilling. All right, so what are we seeing, guys? Looks like he's about to build a third command center. How do I know it's a third command center? The placement, I think? You know when you just see something, you just know what it means in StarCraft? Maybe that's a high-level player thing. Yeah. Also, he didn't have the money, so it seems like it's a bigger investment. It's kind of... I can imagine as a player who's not as experienced, though, seeing stuff like that just seems like weird, dark magic, right? Like, you guys are like, what? Like, it's scripted. It does seem weird, but yeah. Play a lot of StarCraft, you get to read the code, you know? I see a girl in a red dress. Oh, what's this? Oh, he's got some annoying units out here. So I was trying to build some scouting pylons, guys, is what we were doing. Let's go kill that Reaper. We'll grab a new probe to do that. Try again. Just want to see any drops coming. This is a really cool advanced anti-Terran thing you can do. So I'm playing a little bit different. Just trying to show you guys a few more details for each matchup now that we're in plat. What's this? Hellions. Oh, hello. What is going on? Okay. Whoa. All right, let's warp in some units, run our probes away. Our opponent is trying to come in from all sides. So we need to A-move up here in the main to defend. Our natural, we're going to try and grab these guys. And we're just going to go A-move. And hopefully we can defend that. Our main base did take a lot of damage though. Uh-oh. So I'm going to select my next side, rally back to the main, and hold down the probe key. Down here, did these guys defend okay? A-move, shift-click back on minerals. Main base, natural, third. Let's make some more stalkers. This is a really cool three-prong pressure, guys. Ooh, important thing that I messed up is I didn't pull probes from my main. If I ran all my probes away, this would have been way more efficient to defend. But now, after that, macro, 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 and make sure we leave units spread across our bases, because this player's shown that they're an annoying D-bag. So we're going to put our main army back at the front. These guys here are going to be our drop defense squad. First time I'm showing you guys using this. It shows up as number 1 on my groups. And they're going to patrol this edge in the main. However, I don't want to leave this side open to more harassment. So, luckily these two guys are here. They can take that out. Hold the probe key down, guys. Keep chrono boosting probes. And let's fix up that saturation here. Oh, Viking. Luckily, you see, luckily, if your opponent hits you with 3 prongs like that, they're clearly a specialist. They are a multi-prong master. So that's why I counted that, because I knew there'd be more waves of it, right? Now, you guys might have been forgiven for just resetting to bringing your whole army back to the front. But if your opponent shows you that they have a special skill, chances are they're going to use that skill again and again. Now, main is saturated. We're going back to basics. After chaos, main is saturated, natural saturated, rally to the third, build our last probes, put guys on gas, build units. Immortals, we're going to queue up 4 because I have a lot of money. Did we get Viagra? We did. Let's go Twilight and Forge. And then we're going to go 5 gateways. And then we're going to go for a Templar Archives once the Twilight's done. Okay? So we've got 4 Immortals queued up. I'm going to build a cannon or 2 over here, but my Forge isn't ready, so I can't do it yet. So for now, I'm just going to leave these guys here. Now, I don't have an extra control group, so I'm going to put these guys on 0, my dumping key, and just leave them on patrol. So I've got my drop defense squad, my main army, my disruptors. That's a lot of control groups. Simple way to do this, these guys they're not on a control group. I'm not going to micro them off this control group. They're basically dumped into oblivion. And I would rather simplify it by just building a cannon in each base as well. But I think we've shut him down enough. We should be okay. Let's get +1, charge, Templar Archives. I'm at full base, 3 base saturation, 63 workers. You can even grab a bunch of these, send them there, and also build a 4th base, just to have somewhere to transfer to, you know? Let's build a few more pylons. Just making sure we don't get supply block, guys. Why are we doing so many pylons at once? It's because we've got a lot of money. So we're kind of just batching things up and doing it all at once. And luckily we had observers, which really helped me in this game, didn't they? Now, my opponent is putting widow mines everywhere. Dude, I didn't know this guy was going to do this annoying stuff. It's a really good thing I showed you guys the observers. If we didn't build these observers, we wouldn't have had all this early warning on all this stuff. Now, look, I'm going to send a stalker up there or an adept. Shift deselect, remake army group. I'm going to send a Stalker there. Shift deselect, remake army group. Okay. Now, is there still a Widow Mine over here? There is, but look, it's not revealed. So you can kill that with a Disruptor, guys. You see the mark on the ground? You can do that. Now, obviously, I've got an Observer. I could have just used that, but just kind of good to show you a different technique if you're ever stuck a little bit. All right, so we're just still building Immortals. We're chronoing them. Let's go Archons, guys. So we go to our third base here. Archons. Now, we should transfer to our fourth, right? Oh, wait. Our fourth got denied. So we've got to rebuild it, don't we? Well, we've got a bit of map vision here. We can send the Adept forward on the top, Stalker on the bottom, try and get a bit more map vision. I can move this Observer forward, siege it outside his base, just out there. Might be a turret here. So out here is about the closest I want to get to. We've got Archons, more Immortals queuing up, and we want to make a big round of Zealots soon. One last Pylon to max out our supply. Now, he's probably going to keep harassing me, right? So what are we going to do, guys? Get a cannon in each base. If you really want, you can get a cannon and a battery, but just one cannon in each mineral line really helps out. Makes a big difference, okay? You can rally probes there. What is this? He's sending Marines in everywhere. Okay, so we're just going to, once again, A move, deselect a Zealot. A move, shift around the map, deselect a Zealot. This player's being really annoying. I love it. All right, guys, what is that? We just got hit by a Widow Mine. We've got an Observer. Notice it's not on my army control group. It's just following, and now it's time to push, okay? So one more Zealot warp in, and let's go kill him, shall we? Oh, there's another one there. Yeah, he's got Widow Mines everywhere. Now, I have no idea what his army looks like. Is he going battle cruisers? Because someone who plays like this normally is going battle cruisers, guys. So we're going to try and get up in the middle of the base and siege up there. It looks like mass barracks from what I can see. Okay. All right, now where do we attack? That tank's a problem, but it's only one, so I think we're okay. We're just going to A move and look for the Disruptors. So we're going to throw one in front of that army in case it comes forward, and we've got another Disruptor shot. We're just waiting to see if there's any big targets. Doesn't really look like there's that many big targets, but you know what? I'm kind of afraid of attacking into the rally, so I'm actually going to pull to the right side here. We're going to build a few more Observers to rally to the front, and oh, there was a siege tank in that mineral line. I forgot to build the Warp Prism, by the way. All right, guys, he's coming out, so now we'll throw that Disruptor shot out before clicking it back on the Colossus. And it looks like we should be able to, just outside of tank range, right? We should be able to move right. Now, I don't have any Stalkers there, which is unfortunate, so we do need to rebuild the 2 Colossus next. Make +2 attack. We're going to... How many probes are we at? 62. So we build a few more, and we can just kind of transfer to this base. That was a few more than I needed to pull, but that's okay. So we killed that command center as well. We can try to throw that Disruptor shot. It looks like it'll die. And right now, these Immortals aren't very supported, so we're going to try and run away, okay? So we're going to run down this right side of the map. I'm going to try and make more Archons, more Colossus, more Zealots, but... Oh, he chased me with Stim. I have to turn and fight because he's got Concussive Shell and Stim, so I have to fight, even if I lose all these Immortals, which would suck. But the moment he turns around, I'm like, let's get out of here, let's get out of here. Your army's best when you've got all those pieces together. If I get the Archons, the Zealots... and the Colossus, then we'll be good. We'll break these rocks, get ready for another attack, but we need these Colossus out, and we want to rebuild the Disruptors as well. So we're rebuilding that same army. While we're chilling, take a minute. Take a minute to just kind of go, okay, what else can we do? Wow, I could take the gases there. I've got 4,000 minerals. If the game drags on, do one of these guys. Build a Nexus on every base, and then one of these ones as well. Queue up more upgrades. You can get a second Forge, a Dark Shrine if you want. I think that's a bit too much for us at this level. So what we're going to do instead is we're just going to build a butt ton of gates. All right, our army just got attacked by a Marine by the looks of it. No worries. Let's make another big round of Archons. Got these Colossus here. Queuing up more Immortals here. Just chronoing. Making more Archons. Looks like he stopped me from building a bunch of those Nexi with this random Marauder. Once again, guys, just send a unit to deal with it. Send a Zealot, shift deselect, okay? Control click the army. That Zealot's going to deal with it. Or you can manually do it. You can manually just grab a unit. If that's back in my army, the other way is we just select it. Alt-0. Use your dumping key. All right, guys, let's make a round of Zealots. Notice we've got... If you want to control group your gateways easily after you build a lot, if you don't remember to control click them like I did, once they're all done, you can just click this select all warp gates button. Or you could just use the built-in W, as is fine. Let's control click idle workers, send them to a 5th base, which is this one up here since the others got denied. Oh, he's got a few Marines here as well. This player is very annoying. My upgrades really suck. Yeah, we really should have got a second forge. Anyway, let's go win the game. Let's go win the game. We butchered his economy earlier. If we can go kill him, that would be great. We're going to make a bunch of zealots, shift them into the army. We're maxed out. And is our army together, guys? Where are our balls? Yeah, let's go. Looks like he knows I'm here. He's sieging, but I think we're in a good enough position. It should be okay. I'm trying to move my disruptors forward so they're in range. And I'm trying to throw my disruptors out. They got some hits. Nothing too crazy, but they were okay. We're going to lose a lot of our army. Bring the Archons back to kill the Vikings. And I think we should be good. More zealots warping in. And once those Vikings are gone, I think we can win the game now. Really good macro, lots of awesome multi-prong, annoying tactics, spreading units out, being irritating, even adding Ravens in, which is very cute. We're trying to clump our army here, guys, just so it all fights at once. We can try to even click on these Marines and Marauders if we really want to, but generally A move's going to be more reliable. Remember, if you want to move units forward, just try to box the units at the back, move them forward in A move. He played really good. GG, well played. Great multi. Great multi-prong. Very cool play from Bisan, man. That was awesome. All right, so this was very cool, guys. This was a very cool move. Yeah, map vision really helped. And it is something you generally want to start doing a bit more of extra observers versus Terran because they are very tricky like this. But look at this, guys. 8 Marines in the natural. 8 Marines in the main, and 3 Hellions in the third. Awesome moves. Really awesome moves. So, I A-moved to the front to try to intercept this drop and those Hellions. And then I just warped in Stalkers on the natural. And I basically just boxed all of this and A-moved it towards these guys, hoping the probes and the Stalkers could get rid of it, even if I lose about 10 probes. And I figured if these guys can A-move into the main quickly, that'll be good. But this is one of the big weaknesses of this style. Robo units can't be warped in. I don't have many gateways. I don't have Twilight. I don't have Stargate. Your mobility is weak. So you do need to get a bit more vision as you go up the ladder and start facing people who do multi-prong harassment. And remember, what was the big mistake I made here? I A-moved into my main. You can see me giving that A-move right there, that red mark. But I didn't actually pull the probes. So I tell these guys to attack over here. You can see I'm playing with 120 APM average. I'm playing pretty slow. Especially considering, you know, I'm using rapid fire and stuff like that. But losing those extra probes in the main definitely cost me. I'm down to 34 probes after that. That's rough. This is not a super economic build already. But what helps me recover is even already, I select my Nexi and I queue up 5 probes on every Nexus. And then once I finish dealing with the drops, I chrono boost them all as well. And that's the biggest thing, guys. I just chrono boost them all. Notice I rally them all back to the main. Because what's the system? Saturate the main, rally to the natural, saturate the natural, rally to the third. Bam, bam, bam. We're going back to the start of the game and just fixing up our economy. And that's massive. It's so, so massive, man. It's so useful. So even though he had a big economy advantage behind this and did pretty damn good, I rebuild. I also keep my units split up. If I just A-move back to the front, which is a habit most players have, they're like, this guy just harassed me. I defended it. What's the first thing I do? I select all army and I A-move my army to the front. Why? We've got observers. We know this guy's just harassing, but I left Stalkers there. I sent the 3 Stalkers that were down here up into to defend the main and the army back to the front. So I left Stalkers in each mineral line. I would have built cannons if my forge was already up. And yeah, this makes a huge difference because look at that. Those Vikings don't get any kills. Whereas that could have killed 20 probes. Luckily went extra observers this game. Since we saw a very normal expand plus bunker equals defensive setup. So I built built up to 3 observers for more map vision to deal with Terran harass. That's a really good move. That was important. Why? 3-pronged harass came in. I pulled probes away. What do we do? Pull probes. A-move army to deal with one base. Then the next. Plus warp in. to deal with third base. Don't group back up afterwards. You're playing a multi-pronged specialist, so you have to stay covering all 3 mineral lines. Stay split up unless you see a frontal push coming. You can add cannons if they keep trying to harass your bases. So that was really huge. That was pretty massive, right? So I ended up defending for a really long time in that game. That made a massive, massive difference. All right, guys, we got ourselves another PvP, and this is probably one of the worst maps I would imagine to do just a straight 4-gate all-in, because it's a big map, kind of hard to get into your opponent's base and all that sort of stuff. But you know what? We've got Warp Gate, big map, small map. Does it really matter? Not that much. And we'll see how we go. Witch Doctor, I believe, is like 28, 2900, something like that. Oh, wait, we didn't build our gate yet, did we? No, we didn't. Chill, Winston, chill. All right, so I like to build this gate further back. And the reason why I like to do that, guys, is if your opponent cannon rushes you, I wanted to talk about this earlier, but I forgot to do it. If you build a gateway at the front, sometimes they can like wall off next to that. And it just feels really bad if you have to cancel your own gateway to get a surround with your probes on their cannons. It's always really awkward, so I much prefer to build the first gateway further back. Even if they cannon the low ground, you can always repower this with pylons back here. So it's just really nice what you can do with it. Now that probe's a bit suspicious because he's... Oh, hello! Okay, guys, so in this scenario, you want to attack that with a bunch of guys. You always want about 4 attacking that, 1 attacking the probe itself, and you want to change your rally from the gas onto the minerals. Now, we don't know if this is a real build. Okay, now we know it's a real build. We're going to go second gate, Cyber Core. We want to go for... I think because there's this, I don't think it's a real cannon rush, guys. And that pylon's already almost dead. We still want to attack the probe, want to try to kill it. You want to build a zealot. And then we want to make a pylon, okay? Now, my scout is on the other side of the map, so it's going to tell us what's going on. And it looks like there's no forge, there's just gates. So it looks like it's just going to be zealots. Okay, so they could recall zealots into our base is the whole fear. We're going to attack this one. If you look at this pylon, you could wall off cannon there, but up here is the real danger area. So I'll attack the thing from there. Alright, and we're going to make stalkers or adepts. Both are good. I think I'm going to make adepts because we don't have that much gas right now. I'll put 1 more worker on gas and then 1 on that one. Oh, looks like my opponent's lagging out, guys. That's unfortunate. I'll hit the pause button, so it should pause when they stop lagging. Spartacus gifting a sub to It's JD as well. Thank you very much for the love. Sly says, don't forget my boy Robuster. Oh, sorry. You gotta... are they in the channel and stuff? Is their name in-game Robuster? Because I haven't seen them shout out their name. Maybe I missed it? I'm sorry if so. Alright, guys. Let's build a Stalker here. And just another Adept. So we're going to make a few Adepts, a Stalker. You should make a shield battery in this sort of scenario because they could recall a bunch of Zealots. And you got to be real careful. If they recall, we want to run away to make sure we don't get surrounded. So we want to pull back and fight with our probes, essentially. Let's check what's going on in this base, and then we can check both gold bases, okay? So we've got a probe just checking what's up. Cybercore. Oh, he recalled. Okay, this is what I was talking about. We want to run away from this so we can fight with, like, our other units, okay? So we can pull some probes. We're going to A-move and then go back to the mining. Okay, so now we've got plenty of units. Let's go back to mining. Onto the gas, onto the other gas. Let's get a 3rd pylon. And we've got our whole army here. Let's get Warp Gate. I would make more units. But I'm actually going to send a Stalker to kill that pylon. Alright, guys. So what do we do? What's the biggest priority? Oh, he's trying to hide probes so he can proxy in my base as well. Very cute. This is awesome. Awesome build. I love it. He's trying to Florencio. So you got to just leave a Stalker down here so he can't get probes out there without it getting killed. Alright, guys, let's go for that Nexus now. I said we were going to go Warp Gate, but it's kind of too late for that. So that's okay. We can just play a more standard build here. We get a Robo, get a few more Stalkers. He doesn't have a gold base. We'll just try to go inside his base and build some Observers, some Stalkers, a Nexus. And you know what? I have so much money, guys. I think we can take a 2nd Nexus as well. So if we're going to be forced to play that 3-base star, we might as well do it straight away. Yeah. Silly as this seems, I've got so much money in the bank, it's like, why not? And from there, it's just going to be probing, building robo units, and trying to kick butt. Now, he's made shield batteries at home, so he could probably defend a counterattack if he has some gateway units, which we haven't actually seen. He's making 4 gateways. And we've got to check, is there an expansion? So we're going to send a probe around the top, and now we'll send a probe around the bottom side, or... And that's just going to check, you know, is there any actual real threat of that? All right, and in the meantime, we're chronoing probes. We'll rally an observer across the map, and we'll make another observer to stay at home. If your opponent starts with a cheese, then they're probably going to finish with a cheese as well. So DTs is something that I've definitely got in mind right now, and something we'll be keeping our eyes open for. We're going to go second Robo and Robo Bay. We can get a shield battery here on the natural. And lots of probes, guys. Yeah, the second Robo Bay is a bit early compared to my probe count, because the early game is obviously a bit weird. So this observer will go across the map, and the other observer is just going to sit at home. And notice I don't see any corner bases, guys. So it feels like my opponent's just doing some sort of maybe one base all in. No worries. We're going to have an observer at home. Let's just check there's no pylon in the back of this base, because there's a lot of space they could hide pylons. Let's make an immortal. Make a few more probes. And if I don't see an expansion, I will stop probing. For now, we're just making zealots and immortals. Maybe make a sentry just so I can use a guardian shield as well. Alright, there's no nexus, guys. We do not need to build any more probes. Just make fighting units and just try to survive, okay? Let's try to figure out, is it zealots or it's stalkers? It's one base stalker cannon. Okay, so this is game over, guys, because our opponent is on 1 base and I'm on 3. So we're going to go back to probing now. Why? But isn't he on 1 base, Pig? Why would you go back to probing? Because he's building batteries, upgrades, tech, and cannons. None of those can attack. So if none of those can attack, I don't need to be worried about it. I can just keep macroing. So I, in the space of a few seconds, went from, oh god, I'm getting 1 base all in, to he's only got a few stalkers, he doesn't have an expansion, he's just doing weird stuff. I'm just going to keep doing my build. And I think that's totally fine. So we're going to keep chronoing probes, trying to get up to that 3 base count. We'll start 2 Colossi here. And, yeah, basically just slowly work our way forwards until we do that big 3 base Colossus Archon timing. You know, why would I want to attack into someone that's building cannons and batteries on 1 base? It's just not necessary. And maybe he's taking a corner base now, so I'll go for another check. Scout around. There's nothing there either. I can scout around the back of the base just to check what's going on, but I think we're completely fine here. Alright guys, let's get the Twilight and the Forge. And it looks like we're just going to be chronoing probes, now rallying them to the 3rd base. Take the 2 gases there. Get a shield battery at that base if we really want as well. Probably don't need it, but that's alright. Now our observers just died because there's another cannon there. Cool, this is just macro practice. Really important to put more focus into scouting after a weird start. We'll still make 2 disruptors, guys, because we want to keep getting better with those disruptors. I'm going to build about 9 more probes. That'll get us up to 66, okay? Arguably, we don't need that many because our main is mining out. So if you want to stop at 60, 55, that's okay if you want to do that. Thank you, play Zero Space. Oh, Shizzle Fizz, I didn't realize... Zero Space was actually streaming right now on the official account. What was going on? Didn't take a look around the streams today. We'll be streaming a bit of Zero Space at the end of today's stream for an hour or 2, or however long we get to do. Once we're done Bronze to GM. Really fun upcoming RTS, guys. That's in alpha at the moment. Only a limited bunch of people able to play, like the very high tier Kickstarter supporters. Obviously, as it's the very first. It's not even. Is it even alpha? I think it's like pre-alpha. But Rhino crew with ice guns, says Ray Rain. You guys were Rhino. Wait. It's a realistic Rhino sim. Wait. Which Rhino unit? Are we talking about? What unit are you guys talking about? Are we talking about the Grell unit, or are we talking about the Merc? This is pre-alpha 2 is the technical wording. Wait, there's a new unit called the Rhino? Is it a Merc? Oh, was there a patch like yesterday or something, was there?
Thanks for the base.
That's hilarious. Oh shit, I forgot to build gateways, guys. Alright, that's fine. This game's basically over. We're just doing macro practice because the opponent's turtling on 1 base. and we'll go kill him in a second. Let's make a prism. I keep forgetting to do that. And I'll make one more observer just in case he's doing some DT shenanigans. We can make a cannon in each base, especially in PvP. It's a good idea to always do that because DTs are annoying. Should be good. Oh, it's a future unit that's being... Oh, for Legion? Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. Very exciting. Is it actually a Rhino or is it a vehicle called a Rhino? That'd be pretty awesome. All right, guys. Let's move across the map to our staging point. A move the prism, shift, warp phase mode. It's an actual Rhino that can go up and down cliffs. That's hilarious. Cliff walking Rhino. My man. All right. So as our gateways all finish, we'll keep making immortals, make +2. Why not? You guys know this is not really the most all-in build. Because we got that robo production. Now I am making an odd number of High Templar, a little bit lazy, but that's okay. Let's move that warp prism forward just a little bit. We'll set up that camera location there so I can go main base, natural third, warp in point. And here we go, let's go. We can jump down cliffs, but not up. Oh, that's awesome. All right, guys, here we go. So we should have a way bigger army than him. My disruptors are there as well. He has disruptors, so he could land some big boom booms. I don't know where my disruptors are, actually. Did I leave my disruptors at home? Oh, no, they're there. I just accidentally put the warp prism on their hotkey. He just got some big shots, which was pretty awesome. But that's okay, because we're just going to keep warping his zealots. So what should I have done there? I should have spread my units out, guys. You see the enemy has disruptors. You want to spread your units out just by boxing them and clicking them in different directions. So we're going to click these shots on his disruptors. That was pretty advanced micro. That was, I selected the shot and then right-clicked it on his disruptor, so they automatically followed. More zealots, box these guys, shift box, shift 2, add to the army, and GG, well played. I was not expecting a Nexus in the main, guys, but this brings us back to all of our old cheese defense from the early ones. Someone rushing you, someone doing weird shit. What do? Second gate, cybercore, second pylon, make 2 zealots, make 2 adepts or stalkers. Now keep in mind, I was already doing a 2-gate opening, so it's even easier to defend in this scenario. And this is part of the thing in PvP is there's a lot of things that can kill you, so it makes it way easier in this regard. Now, I only made 1 zealot. It would have been great if I queued up an extra zealot here. Because my second pylon was a little late, I ended up not doing it. But really cool to force a reaction. Now, I didn't pull a lot of probes to the pylons. What allowed me to do that? Because remember, initially I had 4 probes attacking this, and 1 chasing his probe, and then I kind of ignored it. 2 big tells. Number 1, he's building a Nexus. If he's spending 400 minerals on a Nexus, he's not going to have a lot of minerals for cannons. But he's still got minerals. He still could be building some cannons, right? So the bigger tell is I went in his base, didn't I? And I know he's only got 1 pylon. And they're always going to have their first buildings on that first pylon. I don't see a forge, therefore the forge does not exist. Now you might say, but couldn't he have another pylon, I don't know, hidden here? Well, look, I've scouted this whole base. I did a full circle. So unless he's gone and built a pylon and a forge there, in which case he wouldn't be able to afford that and a Nexus and all these pylons. There's no, you don't just have unlimited money in the early game, right? So seeing no forge is big. What you could do is you could just patrol your probe here. And as long as you check it every now and then, and there's no forge, you just ignore the pylons. That's a completely valid response. The real threat is if they make 2 gates and chrono 6 zealots, and then they recall all their probes and zealots into your base, it's actually quite hard to stop. So, what was I a little bit slow on here, guys? Adepts are great. They're one of the best units against this. But I was very slow on building a shield battery, right? My second gate, it's going to come up and start a shield battery in a moment as well, or an adept soon, or a stalker, but you can see I'm a little bit slow on building the extra units. I'm kind of playing at that low APM. I don't know why I'm still taking so long. What was I doing this game, man? That's friggin' nasty, that is. Took so long to build these extra stalkers and adepts out here and that battery. So, but he recalls in, my battery's not ready. If it was 6 zealots and 20 probes, I could die here. This is actually very scary. All right, guys, we've got another Protoss game. 2 in a row here. This is a 3.1k Protoss, I believe. And it's a bit of a more normal map. Raduset's a bit of a weird one. But let's go. 3rd base, 4th base, 5th base. Get those camera locations going this time around. Rally our first probe to build that 14 pylon on the ramp. Rally back to the minerals. Get that power field just touching the edges. Go back to mining. We'll queue up some more probes. Very standard stuff, nothing crazy here. Just make sure these guys are not all tripled up, you know, they're trying to spread out where possible. And we can chrono probes here. So this is the pro way of doing it, guys. Chrono probes, then build the gateway. And then you go back and build more probes. Control group your gateway. Build the gas. Try to mine. I'm even doubling it up like a pro gamer there. Very hardcore. Go to second gas. Notice I'm pairing it up on the patch that doesn't have a guy on it. And timing it out nicely as well. Cool. Alright, so anyways, let's rally to there. Remember, we only do 1 chrono on probes because we are going to be doing a very aggressive 4-gate. Get that second gate down. Back to gas. Keep queuing up probes. Second gate, sorry. I think I said second gas. And we're just going to scout around and hide afterwards. Scout around a little bit more, and then we can go back and go proxy, I don't know, over here or something like that. Anyways, I forgot to build my cyber core by 10 seconds. 10 seconds, guys. There's bad StarCraft, then there's that. That is really bad. That's really bad. That's like the whole point of the build is getting that pylon on time. So now we get to show you guys a properly effed up build. Which is, let's be real, a little bit more platinum accurate, isn't it? It's a little bit more platinum accurate. Yeah, let's just warp in over there. Alright, that's the last probe we build, guys. We should be on 23 total. Get this pylon here. It's going to be non-stop stalkers. So we're basically just going to hit at about 415, 420 instead. 2 stalkers get chrono boosted, warp gate starts. Then we want to start a gateway there, as well as get to the wall off. And let's make sure we queue up our 3rd and 4th stalker first, as that's obviously the most important thing. We'll rally those to the front. We're just going to chill with these at home this time. We're not going to go across the map with it. And there we go, 4th gate. Now once that 4th gate started, you arguably don't really need this probe. So we could go for a scout, try to send it in the base, see what's going on. Your call. Now remember, as soon as we hit 50 energy, it's very important we chrono boost the warp gate. So select your Nexus every now and then just to check where that's at. But remember, it should start after we start our 5th and 6th stalkers. Okay, very important to do that. Now, what are we up against, guys? Doesn't look like there's a Nexus, so it's going to be another one of these weird 1-base games by the looks of it. Remember, if there's adepts coming in at home, we can wall off our base. Guys, there don't seem to be a normal amount of buildings in this base. Oh me, oh my. There we go, chrono on the warp gate. Should we build a pylon out here? Let's build one up here first. Okay, so we've got 6 stalkers. What you could do here is you can check both sides. Grab some of them to A-move one side, some of them to A-move to the other side, and shift A-move back. Now, we don't want to get them to get split up. We want to see if there's... it looks like there's something proxied outside our base. We just found it, guys. So what are we going to do? Defensive stance. Remember, if we stay... We're going to build a battery as well. Could be really effective. If we stay in a defensive stance, remember, if we're both massing units on one base, whoever has more units will win. Now, I'm actually going to wait for my next warp in because I feel like I wasn't decisive enough moving out with this one. We're going to warp in 4 more stalkers and we're just going to go out and fight. Okay? Go back to mining. Come on, pylon. I need that pylon. I need these 2 more stalkers. And we're just basically going to go, I hope I have more units than you. And it's 1 base versus 1 base. It's a gamble. We might lose, we might win. But I've got 14 stalkers. I've got an idea of how big my blob of units is. Let's hope he's not quite on the ledge. He is. Get out of there. We just threw a stalker away for no reason. That was a really dumb idea, guys. Why did we do that? That made no sense. All right, guys. We're going to make more stalkers. But I'm out of gas. But we've got the ramp. Oh, okay, guys. Oh, the battery's a little far back. Now that Immortal is actually the big threat here, guys. So if you can move forward and focus fire the Immortal, that's going to be huge. And notice we have the high ground vision. Remember, whoever attacks loses. You're both making units on 1 base. Technically, the Immortals are better, but that's fine. How can we counter Immortals? Zealots, okay? Zealots. What else could we do? Why don't we warp into Adepts and go shade into his base and kill all of his probes? I have 23 workers. If we go kill his workers, he's dead, right? It's a good idea. You can also, if you're ever desperate for production, you can chrono gateways like that. Check it out. So this means even though I just crushed his army and I could probably break his production, I'm going to show you guys, if you're not quite so far ahead, this is a really good dickhead move you can do here. All right. Make a sentry as well, why not? All right. Now when you shade, click it here. So if it's walled off, shift click. Ah, it's walled off. That's annoying. All right, well, these guys are going to try and kill that pylon. Hopefully it's out of range of the battery. And then they can move in behind the minerals and the gas. Okay. Back on this side of the map, we've got 3 zealots. We really want those in front to tank when this fight happens, okay? And we are supply blocked, so let's just go for it. We also just made him warp in units at home. That's all right. I'm going to let them fight.
Justice, we stand as one.
Pull the zealots in front, and let's go. If we could break this production, we win the game. Guardian shield goes down. Now notice we're trying to move forward here. And we're trying to focus the immortals as well. Do we have enough units? Kill the stalkers that are warping in because they can't micro, guys. But we're losing this fight. So let's warp in more stalkers. Let's run away. Could have done a bit fancier micro. I'm kind of torn because I'm like, well, I'm doing some advanced stuff. Like there was a tiny stutter step I did that was very advanced, but then the other stuff I did was very noob. I let the adepts die as well. Immortals are pretty good units. Now, what else could we do? Well, I guess another way you could do this, which is a bit smarter, is if you steal 4 stalkers and send them across. Hopefully you didn't see them leaving. This is enough that we can run up, kill that stalker and battery pretty easily. Actually, let's do it this way. Yeah. Okay. I think 6 is a good number. Because 6 can really ruin him. These guys will go back up my ramp. I'll make a few sentries, make a few zealots. Technically, I could make a Nexus here. Making Nexus is for cucks and tryhards, guys. And look at that. We made him warp in 2 stalkers. Now we get 2 stalker kills. Could have been for free if I hadn't thrown those adepts away. But if we can make him recall, then we can go out and win this game. So, oh, he's trying to ferry in here. Not a good idea. So remember, whenever you attack, you lose, guys. And that battery placement not being overchargeable is still triggering me. Oops. GG. GG, well played. Oh, he killed his own pylon to get those stalkers out. So he's letting these guys in. We can get in there. So technically, what should he do there? He should probably just expand. He should probably be like, cool, I'm going to contain you with like a sentry and some immortals here and some units. Not try to push up the ramp. He could use an observer or a warp prism and just poke forward with the immortals and try to pick off the gateway and the cyber core. And then take an expansion and kind of tech up and play a more normal game. But because he's got a gateway, a robo 2 pylons here, it's an awkward situation and it's quite hard. But generally speaking, I think what are the lessons we can learn from this game? First things first, guys, your cyber core is really friggin' important. Remember, that's what you got to focus on at that point of the build. And if you want, you could even just leave this probe waiting because it's only about 10 seconds from the second gateway starting to when the cyber core is building. But that should be down right here at a minute 23, guys. Minute 24, bam, cyber core. Instead, we go down at a minute 38. That's 14 seconds delayed. Oh, disgusting. Oh, so gross. So gross. So that really messes up the build, but otherwise we just do our 4-gate. Now, usually if you realize it's a build kind of like what our opponent's doing, if you hit your build tight and then you realize what's up, what you do is the moment you do your first stalker whooping, you just go down and kill him. Because they very rarely will have enough units to defend that. And if you just focus the immortal down, because it's a really big damage dealer, you'll just outnumber them. So at this point, if I just warped in those 4 stalkers and went down, we'd be good. But of course, my 4 stalker warping was a little bit delayed, and then I didn't move down. But if I did, it would have been 6 stalkers and an immortal against 10 stalkers. Which I think we definitely crushed that. If we just, especially if we focus fire, if we run forward and focus the immortal, move forward, focus the immortal so it can't pull back, and then just start shift clicking the stalkers, very, very clean victory. But because our stalkers were late and we weren't decisive enough at moving down to engage, we have to start doing other things, which is where, like I said, warping 2 adepts to get in the base can be huge. I could have used this probe, and if I saw that he full walled, I could do the just warp in 4 Stalkers, like I said. Run up with 4 Stalkers, kill the pylon, break into the base. And then if he recalls, say he recalls and panics and recalls too many units, the rest of your army runs out and kills his buildings, while your 4 Stalkers just run away. So what you're doing is you're saying, look, defender's advantage on like ramps, especially with force fields or with batteries, is massive. So I always want to be defending. So here, makes no sense. Really dumb move. I threw away a Stalker, almost lost a second one. For no reason. All I did was a little bit of damage to one of his Stalkers. Very bad for me. But then, he attacks into my defensive position. All of his units are stuck behind each other trying to shove up a ramp. I got a battery healing. Imagine, I could have even had battery overcharge if that battery was just back a little bit. So bad battery placement, guys. Remember, click your Nexus. It has to be inside that dotted line. It's touching, but you need the center of the shield battery to be inside the dotted line. If it was down and to the right, one space, that shield battery would have been in battery overcharge range. Despite that, this is still an incredible fight for me. And if after this fight, I just warped in 4 more Stalkers and chased him to the here, I win the game. So that after such a devastating fight, that would have been the way to do it. You can see the efficiency and the units lost. Just go kill him. But we dilly-dallied just to show you guys a few more things. The adept counterattacks, the splitting Stalkers across the map. These are good ways to play it very carefully. But remember, if you get rid of their Robo and 3rd gate, he's back on 2 gates, no production, he's lost a bunch of pylons. You can expand, you can do anything you want. So would it have been better to just wait and mass units blindly, or you could have scouted with a probe instead of the army? Yeah, definitely, I could have scouted with a probe. I mean, it's just with his army there, of course he's going to be standing on the ledge. Just moving up there was really dumb. I should have pulled back to defend my main base and just sent a few units to go around and try to counterattack. And that would have been, if I want to be active, that's the play, or just camp and just wait for more units and try to just defend and wait it out. But you risk getting contained if you sit in your main base, because he could add a sentry, and if you try to move down your ramp into Sentry Immortal, you're going to get ruined. Verse Cannon Rush. Check if they actually have a forge. If no forge, equals ignore the pylons, right? Ignore the pylons. And then what else do we have? Verse Nexus Rush. Oh, this is, I guess, the second game, not the first, right? Oh, no, this was the first. Verse Nexus Rush, guys. What do we want to do? We want to go... second, you know, Chrono Zealots and Adepts, plus instant battery. Don't forget 3rd pylon. And then we had game 8 just there, which is 4-gate versus 3-gate Robo Proxy. Remember core right on time. Just leave 2nd gate builder probe waiting, if that's easier. Defender's advantage is huge. Use a sentry to split their army if they try to run up your ramp. Make sure battery is placed in range of overcharge. Send a Stalker, send Adepts to kill all their probes. If no, wall off. If wall off, send 4 to 6 Stalkers to try and force a recall. If they recall too much, kill their proxy with the rest of your army. All right, guys, we got ourselves another PvT against a 3.1k player. So just kind of barely into diamond, I would say, at that range. Now, some people were saying, why wall off the natural? Don't do that. You know what? If you don't want to, you don't want to. And in diamond, I'm almost always going to be doing this sort of placement with my pylon. So that's okay if you want to do it. If you guys want to learn your Reaper wall-offs, that's great. In my experience, most players mess it up if they try to do it, unless they're really willing to memorize the pylon placements. Most players aren't willing to do that. So I'm not going to teach it to you also, because in my own GM games, I don't like the Reaper wall-off right now. I just am finding the benefits it gives, while they are somewhat useful, and they absolutely are, I'm not 100% sure it's that important. That being said, I played Clem in the Weekly Cup yesterday. That's why I'm umming and ahhing right now. And I'm like, Clem's Reaper is actually so effing disgusting. I played against him with Protoss. He sees everything you're doing. He always kills probes. It's not actually fair. And he's the one guy where I truly feel if you kill his Reaper, you have a chance against him as Protoss. And if you don't, you have almost no chance, even if you're a top Protoss player. Like it's... I was in Engineering Bay. Okay, guys, if you see an Engineering Bay, send a bunch of probes down. We're going to send 5 because we pulled them pretty late. We're going to build a 2nd pylon and rally onto minerals, okay? Okay. Now, I don't want to take a third base. You can do that if you want. Now, luckily, he let that finish, which is great for me. We'll build a Zealot. We'll make a Cybercore, and we'll just keep probing in the meantime, okay? So we've got a Cybercore, we've got a Zealot. Keep building probes. And we'll try to build a Nexus there, all right? Now, if you want, you can just take your third instead, but a lot of people will follow up with Hellions and stuff, so that's a whole big issue. Now, I could build a second Zealot. I don't think I need to. Those probes are already doing a lot of damage to clear that up. And we see an expansion, so I think we can just go home with this probe, okay? So what we're going to do, guys, these guys, after killing that, we're going to click them back in the main. Rally that back to gas. And we pulled Zealot plus 5 purple. It's a lot of lost mining time, but I think it's okay to keep things in the range of what we're more used to. So we're going to start a Stalker now. And then we're going to go second gas, put this guy on that gas. And then we can kind of put our dudes on that as well. Okay. Get another pylon down, because I am almost supply blocked. Now, I could have sent the Zealot across the map, actually. What do you guys think? I mean, it's not really going to defend a Reaper. Nah, we'll just chill. We'll keep it really simple. Okay, let's come back here. He's being very annoying, guys. What you could do is you can try to attack him with your probes. And we're going to just try to run them away, put them back to mining. Probes. Put on gas. Grab 2 guys, send to the natural. Okay, guys. We're going to F2. Put these on my control group, because my probe was still on there. Let's get Warp Gate. Let's get Robo. Let's try and make a normal game out of this now. It's been a weird, wonky start, but we're back on full main base mining. Rallied to our natural. The Zealot will stand on the high ground. The Stalker will stand here. And we'll build another Stalker as well. We've got Warp Gate. Another Stalker building. All right, I think we're okay now. Let's chrono boost those probes. Send this guy back to the natural. I think this should chill out in a moment, right? Okay, now we don't have the wall off, which means Hellions and stuff are a little bit harder to deal with. We also don't really know what else is happening in this game until this observer comes out. So if you guys, right now, normally I have an observer going across right now. My observer is going to be about 30, 40 seconds late. I'm going to build a safety battery because I've been disrupted. I don't know what's happening. I feel like I could die to a few things. I'm going to make a judgment call. We're going to build the battery. I never said building a battery was wrong. I just said I don't want to do it unless I have a reason to do it. And that's exactly what we feel right now. Don't be afraid. If you guys feel, no, I think it's a good enough reason. I want to do it every game. Then that's okay. So we're just A-moving our whole army after this Reaper because he's being a bag of dicks. And there we go. We're finally going to get him. Oh my lord, what a dickhead. All right, let's build a pylon over there. Well played, by the way, to the opponent. Remember, guys, if your opponent calls you a dickhead, it really means that you're playing StarCraft correctly. StarCraft is a game where you want to disrupt your opponent as much as possible. Let's build a few more probes. You're making their life hard. You're doing it right. All right, so we've got the gases up. Now we want the second robo, right? Second robo. Get the robo bay. I thought I heard an attacking noise, but it was just the gateway transforming. Oh, I forgot the second and third gateway, guys. Oh no, we forgot about that. Okay, let's get that now. They're out of order, but that's okay. So it looks like something just died there, guys. I don't know what that was that just went over. I guess that was my observer just flew into a raven. So we're going to build a few more observers after this immortal. Try and figure out what's happening. We're up to 44 probes. Time to send a worker over to the third. Let's check. Do we have the setup? We've got 3 gates. Build some more gateway units. Yeah, we're not going to get supply block for a while. Yeah, I guess this is it. Now, remember, actually, against Terran, they do a lot of drops. So let's expand in a straight line north along the map. Because if we take this third, they can drop, pick up, drop, pick up, drop. So we don't want that. So we're going to take this third in the north. That's going to be something we always do in this matchup, okay? Let's chrono boost here as we start a Colossus. And we're going to send an observer forward. And we're going to not move it as far forward this time. Because we want to make sure we kind of don't run in and just die. Now let's get back to probing. We've got our third base coming up. You guys know I like to build a shield battery for this base. Let's try and build a pylon up there. Shield battery there. And then we can just go back to mining. And it looks like we've seen some stalkers out there, guys. So what I'm going to do, or marines, I'm going to send a stalker, deselect it from my army, and I've just queued it to go scout everywhere. Send another observer out. We're going to look for drops going into my main down here. And my main army is going to go up there. Probes on the way. We're going to build a disruptor next. Remember, 2 disruptors after the Colossus, then non-stop immortals. Viagra's going to start, though I don't have the money right now. Building a few pylons. And of course, next up is the Twilight and the Forge, right, guys? So let's move this Observer forward. He's still on a hotkey for now. I'm going to put him on my drop defense hotkey. See, my Stalker's killing all these units around the map, which is really good. Okay, so what's in his base, guys? We don't see a third base yet. Not sure about that, but does feel like a big 2-base all-in. I could be wrong. We're just going to check down here, and if there's no base there, we'll siege up outside the base and see if there's any move-outs. Let's go for a couple of Immortals. Keep building those. And let's go for Twilight Forge. A few more pylons. Should be great. Let's grab some probes. Send him to the third. Keep probing. Now, remember, if he's only on 2-base, do I really need to probe my third? The answer is no. So let's cancel those probes, especially not if we see him moving out. Oh my god. Okay, guys. Let's bring everything to the front here. We've got the Disruptors. We need lots of gateways as well as chronoing those robos. So we've got 4 gateways. I don't have money for more before his attack comes. That's a big army. It's a scary army. We need to move out front. Let's get battery here, battery here. We're just checking. Okay. Okay. Oh, he sees that I'm following him. Okay, what am I going to do? Grab the Observer, move it up there. Also, probe, move out front. Probe, move out front. So we're trying to see where he is, guys. Keep building Immortals right now. Keep chronoing them. Let's try to go charge +1. We've got urgency, urgency, urgency. Hotkey these gateways and look back. Where's the army? Where's the army? Where's the army? Okay, there it is, guys. There it is. We found the army. We're going to click this Observer on it. Oh, he's sieging his tanks. Let's pull back. Okay, let's pull back. Ooh, so we want to buy time because he's on 2-base. He's all in. Grab probes from the main. Send them to the third. Grab more of these. Let's get a Templar Archives. How many gateways do we have? Only 7. Let's try to build a few more. If he moves up here, we have to fight him. But we don't want to go in tank fire. So I'm doing the delay. That's the whole point here, okay? Let's move this Observer forward a little bit. Shift siege up. Pervert mode. Okay, guys. We've got lots of Immortals building, and that's good. Let's hotkey the gateways. We're going to build more pylons. You might think, do you really need more pylons right now? Technically, no. However, I think it's always good to not have to focus on that, to get it done now, so the next few minutes I can just focus on army. So that this doesn't happen. Shit. Alright, we're going to A-move the whole army up here now. We need to just split some units. So I'm just going to split those guys, put them on the drop defense, and move everything else back to the front. Whoa, he's here! Oh my god, pull back. Don't chase into his tanks. Now, I sent too many units down here, guys. More than I needed to. But nothing shoots up, so I'll add a few more Stalkers. We'll try to kill that. Add them to the control group. Rest of my army. Pull back. Don't. No. Bad. So let's hold position that army, okay? Since I'm not able to watch it right now. And let's also move this Observer forward a little bit. And let's throw a shot out. We got a big shot there. That was good. I think we killed the drop, so we can come back down here. Whoa. This is really scary, guys. Okay. We're just going to have to go, because if we stand here, we're about to take crazy tank shots. I have to just A-move. A-move and bring the Disruptors forward and try to throw a shot into the army, but I can't really get in range of anything good. I'll kill more Zealots than enemy. So we go for the A-move. Whoo! And we crushed it. How did we do that? We went from a very shit army to a very good army. We did that by buying time. If he managed to force that fight earlier, that would have been much harder for me. That was a really good strategy from my opponent. But we managed to get in there because of that. Let's build a couple Warp Prisms. Let's make more Zealots. I never actually made any Archons. They would be great right now, but that's all right. Let's just get in there. Let's move up this ramp. The Zealots, you don't want to just charge them ahead, guys. Let's A-move the whole army. You might even control-click the Zealots. Pull them behind your army. And as the other units engage, then go in with the Zealots. This is like when you've got an army like this, it's a nice way to do it. So now just micro the Disruptors. Throw one up on the ramp. I haven't really done the active micro, but I'll show you what it's like. So I'm just going to A-move up the ramp. If we want to do active micro, you throw the shot, and then you click the shot, and you click it around to try to steer it onto their units. Active micro with those Disruptors, very high level. On a basic level, the best thing you can do is grab the Disruptor shot and just right-click it on an enemy Marauder. Grab the next Disruptor shot, right-click it on an enemy Marauder, and you'll do okay. This was a really good push for him. And it was really funny because I was saying, hey, with my scouting, I know there's no third command center, right? So I was starting to probe my third. I was on autopilot. But this is a very important response. If you see a 2-base all in, we do not need to probe that third base. So this is the point, guys, where I was like, about 7 minutes. I was like, cool, let's just double check there's no third. And I just queued up a whole bunch of probes. I just queued up a whole bunch. And then even if I didn't see the army moving out, because I'd already said, if I don't see a third command center, I probably don't need to be building these probes for this base. I should be focusing on army. And we went from a few Colossus, a few Disruptors, a few Immortals, and 3 Stalkers and a Zealot, which is not a good army. But then we went to a very, very good army by delaying. So from about 740, when he first arrives with a pretty scary push, I'm able to stand in front of my base. If I pull back, he sieges up in range of my base, I'm dead. But what do? We just buy time. And bringing this extra observer up to track his army was very important. Now, I did macro a bit better than you guys will macro in this scenario, even though I was playing pretty slow, I would say, compared to my normal 130 average APM. It's still a bit more organized than you guys will be. I expect you guys to not crush the final fight as well as I did. To not keep adding gateways and charge and +1 and chronoing immortals and building pylons and getting a Templar archives and getting up to like 9 gateways. That's tough. That's tough to do. But if you just do some of those things and you still, when he comes forward, you move forward, you threaten to engage, you pull back. You move forward, you see, I keep forcing him to siege. He has to be so careful because he knows my army is ready to pounce on him. And if he does just move forward, like right now, I should be A-moving on that. Why is he taking this risk? Because he distracted me with the drop in the main. Unfortunately, Ninja Lobster didn't use control group stealing. So, he never stole this group. What he should have done is he should have grabbed these units, stolen them onto number 3 or 8 or whatever, and he should have dropped them in the mineral line. By dropping them on the edge of the base, he's dropping near low-value targets. If he drops in the mineral line, it forces a really big response from me. So by telling that drop to go in my mineral line, unload, he'd be killing probes right now. All he needs to do is stim it, doesn't even need to look at it, and he can just move his tanks forward and try to take a position. If he got rid of my second observer, he also could have done a tricky move where after killing the observer, he quickly moves north, sieges all of his tanks here, and then moves his bio up and starts picking off this nexus or something like that. But I'm obviously an expert at slowing this push down and that sort of stuff. So GG, well played. Luckily, I reacted when he came forward there. I chased him off, but then I pulled back. I'm not chasing into his tanks. And that's what he wants to do. Remember, what does a Terran want to do when they're pushing? They want to set up when all their upgrades finish, stim shields +1. They have 5 tanks. They got a ton of Marines and Marauders. They got medevacs, and they want you to attack into their very nice position. If you can delay that, delay them getting in position, delay fighting into that position, you're frustrating them. And that's your goal in StarCraft. Frustrating your opponent. Much like their Reaper was annoying me at the start, worked out really, really nicely. So the Stalkers end up killing this medevac as well, which I thought had the Marines inside, but apparently they'd already died. Woo. Can you queue up your units to stim after dropping? No. But even if you just unload 8 Marines in a mineral line, they'll still kill probes very fast. Hey, Philly on Twitch, thanks for the love, man. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try the Heart of the Swarm Nightmare. Can't wait for it, dude. Can't wait for it. So this fight was devastating, right? Because the Zealots took all the tank fire. Zealots don't care about tanks. I had a ton of Immortals to cleave through the Marauders and the Siege tanks. Colossus shredding Marines in clumps. That is like, you know, we went from an army that's very vulnerable to tank fire to an army that is almost just immune to it. Like this giant army of high tier units. And yeah, charge. And I think +1 wasn't quite done, unfortunately, when I took this fight. Because he was taking a really good tank position. And like I said, that was kind of a panic disruptor shot. I actually didn't think that would hit anything. But we got kind of lucky there. And, you know, he knows he's on a timer. He's got to get the damage done. And actually, well, I was just as +1 finished, I went for it. Didn't even realize. +1 finished, we break out. That is massive. Exchanging the tanks for libs would have given you a lot of trouble. No, not really. No, it would just be different. I'd just have to make Stalkers. But Stalkers do okay versus libs, because the libs will be 3-shotting them. So Yeah, a lot of players definitely might shit the bed a little bit there, but I'll just have to spend a bit more gas on Stalkers, which is annoying, but it'll be fine. GG's. Pig, I always die to 2 base pushes. When should they have their third taken? Now, it's not about when is there a third. In terms of like what time are we scouting for a third? It's we scouted their base. So what was their tell? 5 barracks before third command center. That's what we saw. That's what the tell was. And the response. Once I fully realized, stop probing, 2 bases, at most get a handful, get, you know, at most get 10 probes on third base. Even that's not necessary. And just mass immortals, you know, mass units. Mass units, get you charge and gateways up. Try to use Colossus to engage, force a siege, pull back. Poke forward, force siege, pull back. Use observers and extra observers to track army and engage whenever unsieged. This all buys lots of time for you to get more robo units and hopefully to charge. Charge is massive because it closes the distance and they take very little damage from tanks. Whereas if those tank shots land on your army, it's a very different story. They land on your Colossus. Oof. 40 damage to a Zealot, not really important. 70 damage to a Colossus. Ow! Ow, that hurts. It's super painful, man. Hey, if you're enjoying the Bronze to GM, getting something out of it, please help us support the channel, everybody. A massive thanks to Lockie there with the gifted sub. Dralana with a tier 3. Nipperdigger like Ash for the 4 months. I've been live for 4 hours today. And so far, the goals are definitely looking rather dry. Especially help us with the tip button, guys. That is the best way to support the channel. It avoids the Twitch tax of them taking a lot of it. And it does help us continue to do these Bronze to GMs in the following weeks. So if you want to see more of these shows, please put your money where your eyeballs are. And it is necessary to keep this show going. Which tip? Just the tip. All right, guys, we're playing against Death Source, a Zerg player here. Getting towards the end of this B2GM. Only a couple more games in the bag before we hop over and play some Zero Space and try out that new RTS. So let's get over here, build a pylon, and see what we can do. If you want, you can just leave it there, remember? We don't need to do the return 5 minerals. It's unnecessary. Keep it simple, keep it sacred, keep it safe. Let's queue up to 16 workers here. We can rally onto that patch there. And let's go second base, let's go third base. An anonymous gifter just gifted a bunch of subs. Thank you, mate. Unnecessarily generous, but very much appreciated. Alright, guys, the gateway was delayed by a few seconds. We're going to get individual sub alerts for that. For some reason, when people give subs anonymously, sometimes it makes it... Actually, I don't know if it's to do with anonymous. I feel like it happens more, the individual alerts, when it's anonymous. Maybe it is, maybe it's imagined. Anyway, thanks for the love, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Rafa, for the Prime Gaming sub as well. Okay, what do we got? Are you gonna go for a gold base, mate? This map's a bit special, guys. Let's see what we got inside. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, guys, that's a 13 or 12, some form of 12 pool. So we gotta go second, go for second gate, second pylon, and start making zealots right away. Wow, if they're going gas pool on one base like that, it's very scary, guys. We're going to hide this probe over here to try and scout a bit later. But for now, we need a probe and then 2 zealots in the wall. I think I can build 1 more probe for the gas. I think normally we want 3 on gas, 16 on minerals, and 1 probe at the front to assist. Now notice we've built a really thick choke point, but that top gateway could get taken down. Now, because there's gas and a spawning pool, you do want to build a battery just to stay safe. And this is where... we also want to do more chronos. We'll make an adept. We'll make another one in a second. This is where you hit a Zergling and you run back. So I don't even wait for him to react, guys. We hit a Zergling, we run back. We hit a Zergling, we run back. Pull back, press hold position, make another adept, make a shield battery, and let's go out and try to fight, because he's going to kill my gateway. So I got to defend the gateway, guys. It's worth getting surrounded by Zerglings and losing your zealots as long as you keep the gateway up. We'll make Warp Gate, and we can go for a Nexus, okay? So we're going to go for a standard follow-up now. We'll go through that. We can get a pylon and an extra gas in the main. Go back to probing. But you don't want to move out with this one. Why not? You might be wondering. Because he doesn't have an expand. Now, why doesn't he have an expand? Could be because he's taken the gold base. Or it could just be because there's no expansion. We're going to go in, and they've got a drop. They're doing the Euthermal build. Okay. This is a very old one. Euthermal is repopularized recently. It's a Zergling drop in your main. So you want to build a battery in the main. 2 Zealots, 2 Adepts can win against the drop. So that's okay. Now he does have, I think maybe he's dropping in the natural as well. These guys are good. I definitely need a Stalker and another Stalker. And we're going to just check if he's trying to drop up there. Because if he is on that side, that can be a problem. But just basically keep making units is the whole way to defend this. Wall your base. And the problem is, if you go up here with just 2 Adepts and they drop Zerglings on top, your Adepts die. But having 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts, we'll deal with it. That's why we're okay. So we're going to put guys on the second gas, start making probes. And we've also got a Stalker as well. So we'll just keep our whole army together for now. This Stalker out front can't get back inside. That's okay. And we're just going to make Chrono of the probes. We should be good. Now, how did I know that he had a lair? Overlords can't drop creep until the lair's finished. If they have a lair, it means they're doing some sort of gimmicky build. And he does have a second gas, so he could be going lurkers or muters or something like that as well. So definitely, if your opponent tries something cheesy like this, and then it doesn't kind of fully end up happening, it's a very good idea to think about potentially doing some counter pressure. So what we want here is we can make a bunch more Zealots, kill our gateway to tear that down, and start getting ready to move out. In the meantime, we're just going to macro. Now, you could argue we don't need to do this. But I think a Zerg who's teching up this hard and didn't even commit to the Zerglings was faking us, and it was only 8 Zerglings and not that many. So when your opponent's doing something really silly, save recall energy. I've got it. A-move. So we're going to A-move to his base, but we're ready to recall. He doesn't even have Ling speed. And it's Locusts. Ah, it's Locusts. Okay, very cute. Run the probes away. I didn't hear the first Nidus. I have a problem with the sound on my new computer. I don't know what happened. For some reason, the sound doesn't play. So these guys, rather than hunting the Nidus worms, they're going to go after that. We're going to make a Twilight Council and a bunch more gateways. We can try and heal that gateway there. We're going to even battery overcharge. Oh, it still died. Battery overcharge is out DPS'd by 4 locusts, guys. That's interesting. Against Swarmhost Nidus, all you have to do is counterattack, guys, and you will win very easily. As soon as the locusts come out, though, you want to run away. Oh, those Zealots are trapped, unfortunately. These guys have to pull back. So the Zealot's just going to try to run around, see if it can distract. All right, guys, so I have 2 bases mining. We've got more gateways here, which are powered now by pylons on the left, further from where the locusts can hit. And we're going to make more units at home. Now, these guys are just going to keep attacking, because that means if his locusts stay over here, let's try and heal that pylon if we can. I know this is a little bit more advanced than you guys can really do, but... Okay, just fight. It's actually only 2 locusts. Why not just kill it? Alright, these guys are going to try and focus the Nidus worm down. Those guys are going to kill that. We're making Stalkers, and we're going to try and get rid of the creep and the Nidus worm. So we're going to A-move there, and then A-move down there. We're also on this map going to open these minerals up, because those minerals are very annoying. Okay, he's killing all my units. So you're meant to run away when the locusts land, but we're doing a pretty bad job of that. Now we want to make Blink. The reason Blink is just a really good ability to move around. But that's a high skill ability. So we're going to go charge, actually. Never mind. We'll go charge, guys. Oh, we've got an observer. Let's clean this up. Sweet. All right. Looks like he stopped me from mining that open. I'm going to try again. And we're just going to make Zealots, okay? Make more Zealots. Make a lot more gateways. This is a bad spot to build the gateways because the locusts can hit them. But since I'm down here to defend now, I think we're okay. Oh, did I actually just do that? Apparently I did. Main base is under attack. Run the probes away and then queue them back to mining. Use shift, deselect 3. Right click, deselect 2. Back on the minerals. All right, guys. So you want to expand away from them. So we're going to expand a 3rd and a 4th up here. And the whole reason for that because that's going to allow us to be further away from the locusts. And to just, the locusts are a free unit, but you only get so many of them. No, we just lost our observer. What a dickhead. Okay, so check it out. So we're going to kill that Nidus one. Now we can recall these units. And it looks like we're going to battery overcharge. Oh, we don't actually want to fight. Sorry, I thought those locusts were about to run out, guys. Apparently not. He's got Infestors as well. This guy's sick. I love it. Let's go back to mining. And remember, we want pylons up here as well. So what do? Select your next side, rally to the third. Go back to our army. Why are these guys not fighting? I told you guys to fight. Kill the Nidus worm so we can't escape. Nice. F2. I'm going to F2 because my whole army is being used as one squad due to our APM constraints as a platinum player. Main saturated half decently. Natural's okay. The third is where we're rallying to, and the fourth is up here. So if we can get more gates up there, that'll be great. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to leave a single zealot, patrol, dump, or stalker. Single zealot, patrol, and then deselect. Single zealot, patrol, dump. Okay. So what do we do now? Well, we're going to repower this. We're going to try to send a zealot to the watchtower as well, and just try to move out front and generally get some more info on what's going on, make more zealots, make more probes, and there we go, we found them. Okay, so group our army up. We're going to try and defend these swarm hosts. Now, if they go into our main, that's fine, because we're going to kill their escape route. See, the swarm hosts and infestors are up there, guys, so they're trying to trap me here with fungal and the locusts. But if we just jump on him, and then the moment the locusts launch, you just run away, and we attack their base. He's still on one base. Remember, you can take so much damage here and still be fine. Templar Archives, what else? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rally to a new base, hold the probe key down. I'm not looking at my army at all. Because I know he doesn't have any mobile units, guys. He doesn't have any threats. Grab these guys, put him up here. Take the purple gas. Add the gateways to my hotkey. Let's check my army. Okay, are they fighting right now into swarm hosts? No, it looks like they're doing good. Infestors are dying. We're killing a hatchery. We're killing queens. This looks good for me. Now, if he uses those locusts, we run away. He uses the locusts. Run away! Let's go over here. Make sure there's no third base on this side, okay? What's our probe count? 61. How many gateways do we have? Like 10? All right, let's try and get double forge as well. Get some stalkers here to kill that. I don't want him to deny this production. GG well played. He did some really good maneuvers. And if you freeze up against this build, it is very hard to deal with. Really, really hard. But if you know about it very well like I do, because I've played many games as and against swarmers over the years, you know that getting a cheap mobile unit that does good raw stats and you don't need to micro like the Zealot, perfect. Blink if you're a pro gamer, if you've got really good micro and APM and multitasking. But a lot of the time it's just every time locusts land, run away. Every time locusts throw at your army, run away. And you can often do it where if you see locusts coming in, you're like, okay, those have about 10 seconds left. You just grab, shift click back on mining. And then you just, okay, he's attacking here and has a good position here. Okay, I'm going to build my production up here. I'm going to build my production up. Oh, he's attacking that side now. That's fine. Because every now and then I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to be like, okay, take 2 bases and try to build like a base down here. Because the thing is they don't have mobility. They have to throw a Nidus every time. They've only got 1 base. And if at any point in the movement you catch them out of position, these expensive swarmers, which are so expensive on 1 base, they do get caught out and they do die. So even though I lost a lot of my gateway units attacking him, probably overly aggressively, I could have kept that little gateway squad alive a bit longer. At the end of the day, it kept him at home enough. It bought me enough time to get up charge, some gateways, and then once we had some units up, we were able to start clearing up his sort of contain on my base and expand away from the pressure. That was really effective. So we could have earlier, the moment we realized it was Swarmos Nidus, we could have basically already grabbed a probe, sent it here. Grab a probe, go mine out these minerals, and then try and take like this base here, right? Because it's far away. That's a bit technical doing that though, so I just kind of, once I cleared the top Nidus, just expanded in a straight line upwards. Yeah. Nidus is, I believe, 75, guys. Yeah, 75 mineral, 75 gas. It's not cheap. The building is 150. It's not cheap at all. And on one base mining, it is rough. So you're absolutely allowed to trade like shit against this build. You got to realize they're investing in so much tech so early. It's so hard for them to ever transition into an economy. And they're having to use, yeah, they're free units, but they're also units that are on a big timer to get this sort of damage done. Funnily enough, that was actually so few locusts, I could have just stood my ground and fought it, and actually probably forced a bigger reaction. But it is what it is. And I did do some high-level battery healing micro, but it honestly didn't change much. The buildings that were getting attacked died anyway. It changed almost nothing. Sick play by Death Source, though. One base Swarm Host Nidus. Most players freeze up against this. So I really think this is a great thing just to kind of know how to deal with, right? You hear a ridiculously early screech. That's the tell. And what's the response, guys? Send your army across the map. Force them home. Run probes. And return to mining. Rebuild / add production plus Twilight and charge in the back of your base where it's safest. Try to expand away from the Swarm Host player, from the Swarm Host Nidus, and queue up lots of probes plus rally to them. Add new production and tech at those newer bases, so the Locust, the Swarm Host immobility can't clean up all your infrastructure. Essentially, you're just spreading your shit out. Make sure whenever Locusts throw at your army, you just back off and come back 20 seconds later, right? Locusts last 20 seconds and have a 40-second cooldown. I know those numbers are wrong. Is it 1836, guys? What are the exact numbers? Oh no, 18-second life, 43-second cooldown. Wow, 43. 18, it's even bigger. So you got 25 seconds. 25-second window where they're useless. Plus, just forcing the Locusts away from your base already takes away the Swarm Host power for the next 45 seconds, 43 seconds. Why was the Overlord dropping creep in his own main? That was specifically so he could wall off his ramp. Now, I didn't realize that. That's actually a big tell that he's doing this build, but I forgot. That's what you do. So because your layer's finished, your Overlord drops creep, and then you build Infestation, Nidus, and Spinecrawler to wall yourself in on one base. So it's the Zerg wall off. And it's specifically because, yeah, you've only got one queen, and you want every inject you can get at that point, because you've only got one hatchery for production. I think even though we only played 9 games today, guys, I think these games were very valuable. So much analysis, so many notes here. And I really think this hopefully helps show everyone how to respond to a lot of different stuff. That was the goal in Platinum, is let's get wrecked by some stuff. I got destroyed in 4 minutes in the very first game by a therapy all-in. And we basically said, hey, we kind of need an Adept Scout to see that. With our base level of PvZ, we will usually die to that, but it is what it is.